I mean,
I'm jumping on in a dinosaur and take off.
They walk in a room and just take a sword and start killing everybody.
Yes, sure do.
You know, I'm like, man,
It was brutal back then.
That's the tough.
Herman said he'd rather be in a world when they're gonna kill you. They're gonna let you know they kill you. Put you in a chair. They're gonna give you some medication and take you out.
Exactly. Go to hospice or something. You know?
I got a plan.
Everybody ready?
Oh yeah.
Waiting on you.
Are we on? Yes. Do I look there or do I look? Where do I look?
Right there.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Dallas. Good morning, San Antonio. Good morning, Houston. Welcome to LBRS monthly meeting. We're going to go ahead and get started this morning. First of all, I want to welcome everybody, those of you all that are here, those of you all that are on Zoom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got some great things for you this morning. We got some delicious stuff. I mean, the power of 3 is powerful. And if you apply it to the way that Bishop is going to bring it to you today, I promise you, you will see a significant change. It is the power of 3 is and actually it's a meetup group that we went to attend this particular meeting, and they actually put this together, and we just said to ourselves, we have to bring it home to you guys. And so we're bringing it home to you guys this morning. So sit back, get your notepads together, and enjoy. I also want to, before we get started, we don't have any visitors out here today, but keep in mind, even if you're on Zoom, if you want to bring someone and just have them sit down with you and just watch our monthly meeting, feel free to, please, because the most important thing right now is we're asking you to recruit, right. When you get up in the morning, tell the Lord thank you. Next thing you say is EAPS. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. But before we go any further, we want to go ahead and we want to do our presentation. Now, you guys know that every month we always do a presentation. We do a presentation for volume, and we do a presentation for recruits. Okay, and it's been pretty consistent each month. So, except for this month. This month, we will not be doing a presentation on recruitment because we didn't recruit this month. I'm not just talking to you guys, I'm talking to me. We've got to get on it. However, we definitely have an award for volume. And let's be honest, it's not going to come to any surprise who that person is, okay? But at this time, I want to call up Justin Silas. I want to reward him for being the top agent in volume once again.
All right.
Let's hear it for Justin.
Yes, sir. Justin, go get him silent.
You are doing your thing. I tell you what, one thing I know, if I get nothing for myself, and I move in with you in time, I ain't gonna starve. Have some words.
I don't know what to say. God is good and gave me the ability to.
Okay, those of you all, somebody probably don't have it on mute. If you can go ahead and mute it this time, that would be great. Of course, if you have something to say, unmute and come back on.
Thankful for the teams, for the vision, the knowledge from Herman, for Trail, Melissa, for all the good nuggets that Pastor JD dropped. I mean, everything is helpful, and at the end of the day, we all a team. So let's keep on pushing. Keep on pushing.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so without delay, I'm going to present. I don't have to introduce. But I'm going to present my partner, Bishop Gerald Lovelace. to introduce to you. This is heavy, the power of 3.
All right.
What do we do?
We help people.
What do we do?
Help people.
What do we do?
Help people.
We what? Recruit.
Recruit.
And we do what? We build. We build.
We build.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we got to get that right.
We get it right.
Well, guys, also I am really excited about the turn and the new breath that has been breathed into our business. I know that for a lot of agents and for a lot of people, we had, you know, like I was explaining to someone, it's like we went through the wilderness, right? To where there was like a 2 or 3 month period, man, to where it seemed like there was nothing growing, nothing pushing. But God kind of opened up and brought us into the promised land in August. We got a lot of things moving, a lot of things God is doing, and we know it's by His Spirit.
Yes,
because, you know, how many of you know this is a spiritual battle?
Yes.
You know, for a lot of you, when you signed up to become into this business, it seemed like all HE-double hockey sticks broke loose in your life. There's no coincidence, because the enemy do not want you to help people. He do not want you to get out and provide financial security for you and your family. So this is not an easy thing that we're doing. It is an actual, you know, a real business. And real business take work, it take cultivating. There's just some things that we have to do. And I'm really glad that this is not a get-rich-quick type of business. Because, you know, anything that lasts, like an oak tree, have to grow roots to be able to stand the test of time. And so I believe that we're building something within for our family and for our community that is really getting the roots. And so, you know, all that start with, man, you're studying for your test. Nobody likes studying. Some of us have been out of school for a long time. And we talk about studying for a test. Lord have mercy. That is not an easy thing to do. And we know that some people are just not self-taught in that way. So a couple of months ago, we introduced our Fast Start School for those of you that need a little bit more instruction on getting through the test, getting through your modules. Well, we have an update on that. Starting next month, the Fast Start School will be going online. So you can be able to participate in the class. You can be able to participate in the different areas of learning from your computer at home and still be able to get in on the discussions and all those types of things. So we're going to be introducing that next month online for the convenience of people that is in Alabama, people that is in Houston, people that is in Dallas, people that is in San Antonio that cannot make it to our corporate office here in Pflugerville. And so we're expanding that. So wherever you are, you can be able to get some help and get on a schedule that will help you pass your life exam to get your life license, right? And so that by itself, getting out the gates that's tough all by itself.
Yes.
And then you got to deal with the areas of prospecting. You got to deal with this other different aspects of this business that sometimes it seems awkward because it's not something that we normally do. And so we was talking at our corporate meeting last night, and one of the things that we began to discuss is how you have to, first of all, work on your weaknesses, right? Because if you have any weaknesses with talking with people, with approaching people, with all of those type things, this business is going to show you the areas that you're weak in. But we have to be confident and know that we can learn and overcome any of those weaknesses, right? Because as I said, we have to become experts in what we do. The only way that this business is going to be able to do what it's supposed to do for us is we have to become experts. So we here at LBRS, we're trying to do everything we can to set up a system for you that will make that a little bit easier for you. A system for you that will help you get through those tedious times because they are tedious. It's not like, I'll be lying to you if I tell you it's easy, right? We have so many agents now that have, it's been struggling coming out of the Bronx, it's been wavering and because it's not easy, right? And one people, I heard a person say that if winning was easy, everybody would do it.
Everybody.
Right? And so we have to make up in our minds that this is going to be a journey. It's not going to be something that's going to take place in the next day or two. It's something that we're going to sow our seeds into, and we will reap rewards. We have examples of that.
We have examples of that through Herman. Got his $100,000 ring. Got the ring now.
Got the ring.
Got the ring now. Got the ring. So here's an example that hard work pays off, right? We have Steve Little in Dallas just got his $250,000 ring, even though his situation was a little different, but it's still accomplishable. Right? It's still something that we can do. And listen, I want to say this shout out and this reminder before I get into my presentation. Listen, September the 15th and the 16th, we need you to come down from Austin, come down from Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, wherever you are. Mark that date in your calendar right now. I'm going to talk about the importance of it in my presentation, but mark it down. We're going to have our Austin training for the Austin area, right? I think it's important for us to begin to let Bloom and Steve Little and Petro, everybody know that Austin is on the map and that we are on the move, right? And so we're excited about them coming down. We're excited about them coming down to do their training. It's going to be a 2-day training, $25. It's going to take care of your lunch on Saturday. Friday night is free. It's going to be a BOP meeting. So I want to just make that plug very quickly. And I'm going to talk about the importance. Yes, sir.
Starts at 1. We're going to have a base shop training. 4:30, we're going to do mortgage brokers.
Okay.
We're going to break from 5 to 6:30 for dinner.
Okay.
And then
the
then we
presentation.
do the meet and greet.
So that's going to be on Friday, correct?
Yes.
That's on Friday. All right. So you guys, it starts at 1. So we need you to, make time, get early off on your job, because we need you to be there, particularly with the mortgage and some of the things we're rolling out. It's going to be vitally important to you. And so that's just the type of investment that you have to make into your business. So move forward. I'm going to talk to you about very briefly. We got a pretty good lineup for you today. I'm really excited about it. These monthly meetings is all about information. It's about training. It's about preparing you to do better in your business, right? And so we have a great lineup. We have Pastor JD is going to come up and talk about how to network your business, because it is all about networking and learning how to connect people to what we do. Herman is going to come and talk about how to close your business, and then we're going to have Justin is going to talk about our updates that we need. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and talk to you just a few minutes. Some of the things that's been on my heart concerning the power of 3. When you look at the number 3, particularly when you deal with in the Bible, we know that the Trinity is God the Father, the Son, and what? The Holy Ghost, right? We see a lot of things that is built upon the principle of 3. We are a triune being. We are a spirit. We possess a soul, and we live in this body. We are, so we see the power of 3 even from the biblical prospect. When you look at our product and our business, what are the 3 things that we do? Anybody know? It's going to be a little quiz for you. What are the 3 things we do? Anybody know? Right? We help people if they do what? If they die too soon, if they get sick along the way, and if they die, if they live too long. Right? Those are the 3 areas we help. Through living benefits, through IULs, we help people if they die too soon, they can access their benefits. If they get sick along the way, they can access their living benefits. And if they live too long, the IUL will cover them up to 121 years old and even further, right? So even our business is based upon the power of 3. And so I want to introduce you today and just talk to you about some of the areas that we need to focus on based upon the principle of the power of 3. There are 3 things you need to do to drive your business. 3 things you need to do to drive your business. You need preparation, you need prospecting, and you need presentation. These three things, if you begin to master these 3 things, then your business will be a success. But we have to make sure that we focus upon these. So I'm going to break this down in kind of simple terms as it pertains to our business. So let's look at preparation first. Preparation, guys, you got to know your business. You got to know your product. It is a period of time to where you have to study. You have to get into your back office and you have to look at the videos. You have to look at the training that FEG has done. You have to get on the LBRS website, understand the presentation. If you want to know how to do the presentation, we have a presentation tag on our website to where you can listen to it and learn it so you can be experts in it. You have to know your business. You have to know your industry. You have to know these are things that in order for you to be successful, this is part of your preparation time, right? You have to know your business. How do you do that? Through workshop training. This is what September 7th, 15th and 16th is all about. You have to attend workshop training. If you are not coming to this meeting or FEG regional meetings or FEG national meetings, if you're not going there, then you are behind on the product which you say is yours to reach out to people. We're in the industry now, and it's just like technology, man. Things change often, and you have to stay up to date on what is going on. Workshop training is very important. I heard it is said that you have to make sure you keep your logs on the fire for you to keep burning. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we have to do, it's not in every business. When you go to corporate America and you're working on your job and you just have to go to work every morning like a zombie, punch in the clock, do your ABCs, you don't have to stay near, you don't have to stay fired up for that. Because you know what is coming, everything is laid out for you. But you guys as business owners, you guys as destiny changers, you need to be fired up about what you do. Right. You need to have confidence about what you present. Yes. You cannot have confidence in something that you don't know about. I don't know about you. You know, a lot of times when I'm really haven't prepared myself, and I have to, you know, either preach a message or talk to somebody about something, I'm not as confident as I am when I know my material. Right. When you get to knowing the business through workshops and training and all of these things, you can stand before a person with confidence and passion about what you do. Why? Right. Because passion is contagious. That's right. You cannot sit in front of people to tell our product to, and you lean back in your chair, you kind of stumbling and fluttering about your product. No, we have to prepare ourselves. And that takes time through workshop and training, as I mentioned, through corporate meetings and team meetings. And also you need to prepare yourself by having a mentor. You need to have a mentor in this business. That's right. It may be your upline. If it's not your upline, it may be your friend, whoever it is. You need somebody that can hold you accountable. It's called accountability. Yes. That can hold you accountable to the things that you say you want to do. Right. One of the things we do in our Fast Start School is we have you to write out your goals. And we hold you accountable to your goals. And anytime you fall off, I was talking to Herman just a minute ago, he says he's looking for the 18. And we believe that there are 18 people that can get serious about their goals and what they say they want to accomplish in life. We are your coaches, we are your mentors, and we do everything we can to help you get there. But it is your choice to stay near the fire. It is your choice to come to the meeting. It is your choice to make sure you make every appointment. It is your choice to make sure that you stay in the schools and in the framework that is going to help you be prepared for your business. You have to be prepared for what you are presenting unto people. It breeds confidence. When you walk into a room, you should be confident. When you go to sit down with somebody, you should be confident. Why? Because no matter what question you ask me, I'm going to be prepared for it. And guess what? If I'm not prepared for it, I got Herman number, I got Bishop number, I got Donna number, I got somebody I can call right there on the spot. I can tell you how many times I was in a meeting with Herman and he had a question and an answer. He dialed Tom right there on the back while we in there, put him on the speakerphone to answer a question or something that we was discussing, right? We have to use those tools that's available to us. So preparation, guys, I cannot stress this. This is one of the areas that you have to maintain in your business. This is one of the areas that, as I noticed as your leader, that we're lacking in our business. We're lacking this among our agents. We get just enough information to pass by. We learn just enough to be able to put in an e-app. We learn just enough to be able to sort of like talk to somebody about our product. And it shows in our confidence, and it shows in our passion. Listen, our product, this business, you should have so much passion about this business, right? If you think about your favorite restaurant, in your favorite restaurant, you have your favorite dish. When you think about that, things begin to move in your mind and your heart when you think about that lobster or you think about that steak. Why? Because you're passionate about that and you don't mind telling anybody about your favorite restaurant or your favorite meal. Why? Because you're passionate about it. It's something that you love to do. This business has to be the same way.
Yes, sir.
You have to develop that type of passion for helping people, and you cannot do that if you are not prepared.
Wow.
If you're not prepared, there's no way that you can walk in confidence and in passion in everything you do. If you do try to do it, you're not genuine.
Yes, sir.
You're not genuine in what you're presenting, right? So the first P in the power of 3 is preparation. The next thing is prospecting. You got to know your target, right? We all know that our target, what is the 5 things that qualify the basic target for FEG and LBRS? Do you know what they are? Talk to me. What are they?
Husband and wife, married, family, house, children.
Somebody else. Stop.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
25 to 55.
25 to 55.
Employed.
Employed.
Married, own a home, have a job, children.
That's our basic target, right? That is what we tailor make our presentations to and our preparation for. We have to know what that market is. To go beyond that, you have to start dealing with now you want to narrow that target down just a little bit. When you look at a bullseye, you have the red, you have the outer ring, and you have 3 circles the way you go in and hit your bullseye, right? As you begin to look at your target, you have to try to get as close to that bullseye as you possibly can. So even if we know that our target is 25 to 55, all the things we just named, above that, you need to figure out what your target is.
That's
Right? What's your group? What's your demographic? What's your niche? Because once you begin to identify that, then you begin to zoom into that bullseye and you're more laser focused in your work. See, we have to recognize that our work ain't good work. Our work ain't good work. There are some things we can do in our daily life that is not pertaining to the focus. There are some things we can do in this business that's not pertaining to the focus, and we're literally wasting our time. Why? Because we're not laser focused upon the bullseye. We're not laser focused upon which area, not only that group that we name, but also what is my target? How can you identify your target? What do you commonly identify with when you came into the business? Do you love sports? Are you a coach? Are you a lawyer? What is it that you came into this business? Now you can begin to identify why. Because you have knowledge about that business. You understand of that industry. You understand who those people are. You understand things about them that will help you approach them, right? And so once you begin to narrow that down, you will begin to see that I can hit the target. I can hit my mark more often. Why? Because I know what my target is. I'm not confused. I'm not over here one day and over there the next day. I understand what my target is. Now, this is particularly after you move out of your warm market.
Right.
What is your warm market? Anybody know what your warm market is? Give me some characteristics of a warm market. Friends, family, right? Co-workers, right? People that you know and you deal with every day, right? For a lot of agents in this business, we don't have a problem for the most part with our warm market. It's when we begin to move past our warm market.
Yeah.
If we're not doing very good at referrals, or sometimes the referrals is a lukewarm market, right? And so when we begin to want to stretch our business, we have to begin to understand and identify our target. We have to do that, and you have to understand who you're going. So how do you do that? How do you work on prospecting? You know, I hear all the time in this business, people say, well, you know, where do I find names? Where do I find prospects? How is it that I move past my natural market or my warm market? Well, these are some keys. Networking. What is networking? Networking is meetup groups. In Austin right now, you can go to meetupgroups.com in Austin, Texas. It would give you a list of meetup groups. All you have to do is attend. It's hundreds of them. Most of them are wrapped around business, right? So you're in the room with other business leaders. You're in the room with real estate. And real estate is we're going to look at in our meeting on September that's going to focus on mortgage brokers. You know, we went to a meeting with Trev, and in a meeting they had mortgage brokers. They had you know, all kinds of different business entity. You can just meet up to a group, and what they do, they are designed. The whole purpose of the group is for you to network.
That's right.
That's the whole purpose of the group. The whole purpose of the group is for you to talk to people about your business, pass out your business cards, and make connections. That is an easy way to move past your warm market, right? Social media, social events, right? For me, as I begin to narrow down, and I just tell you this testimony, confession is good for the soul, right? So I knew that my target market was pastors and churches. When I first started, I knew that that's what God sent me. Well, I got distracted in some things, and to say, make a long story short, God reminded me in a service 2 weeks ago that he had given me my strategy to make my business successful. And I had to get back to pastors and churches. The moment I did that, the fish began to jump in the boat. I'm telling you, the moment I did that, people that I had talked to 2 or 3 months ago began to contact me.
That's right.
Why? Because I got back focused. I got back in my vein of what I was supposed to do. Social events, for me, is church events. So now what I'm doing is I'm signing up with churches, different conferences, different things they're doing. I'm going to be in the lobby after the service. I'm going to be into the announcements. I'm going to just be passing out cards, building my prospect list. How do you do that? By just getting people to sign in. You don't have to give the whole presentation there. You don't have to sit up and do a whole 30-minute presentation.
That's right.
Just get people to sign in. Get people to sign in, and then you can call back and do those follow-ups. We're learning how to do that now. We had a social event that we did. Most of you probably seen it or heard about it. We did back-to-school event with Bridging the Gap and Last Chance Ministries in San Antonio about 2 weeks ago. We was able to serve the community, but we left there with over 270 names and phone numbers that we're now being able to contact. We have a meeting set up this Tuesday, a mass meeting this Tuesday that's going to be at Last Chance Ministries, and they are going to, we believe that we're going to do very good from there. But what we did was we just simply went and connected names. That's what we did. We sit there and talk, have you had a living benefits? No. Richard was saying about, about children, and we just got, hey, sign right here, sign right here, sign right here. And those people weren't able to turn those names. We went to the NAACP in Dickinson last week, right? We came away with names. So when you think about meetup groups and you think about social events, listen, you don't have to be the headliner. You know what I mean? Just ask them, even right now, we're going and we're putting out stuff in different churches in San Antonio to say, hey, listen, put us on your announcements. Most of you know pastors and you know people. Just say, listen, can you just put us on announcements to say that, Trevlin is going to be in the lobby. He have left insurance with living benefits. You don't have to die to use. If any of you guys is interested, he'll be in the lobby.
That's right. That's
right?
simple.
That's the same thing. See, forgetting the things that happen. That's the same thing I did for Herman, right? And he got all those names out of my church, right?
and two great recruits from it.
Yeah, and recruits out there. But that's an easy thing to do. So when you think about your social, what is yours may be sickle cell events. Yours may be, diabetes groups. Yours, whatever your social events are, just ask them, can you come? Most social events love to have vendors. They are seeking for vendors, right? And it may be, and I'm going to talk about it in a moment, it may not something you can do every day, but at least put something on your calendar to get involved in some type of social event. That would generate prospects. Marketing. We're talking about the power of 3. You need business cards. If you don't have business cards, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yes, indeed.
You have to have business cards, right? This is all about prospecting. What we learned was, when you hand somebody a business card, don't just give them 1, give them 3.
That's right.
Why? Because you want them to be a marketing source for you. If you give them 1 and they're telling somebody about your business, they say, man, you got to listen, you know what I mean? Herman got this great business with living benefits. They have an extra card to give them. That's another way, smart way of marketing. Flyers, social media posts, all of those things go into marketing. As I said in my morning motivation this week, listen, you got to understand there's a time of sowing seeds in this business. And guys, I want to encourage you, don't get discouraged when you don't see the fruit coming right away. That is vitally important. Because anything that grows deep, it takes time to sprout up. And so a lot of times you have to coach people, you have to talk to people for 2 or 3 months. I got a big fish on the line right now, man. That thing is like Jonah the whale. I've been trying to reel him in for the last 3 months. Guess who called me yesterday? I start shouting right now. Guess who called me yesterday to say they want to meet?
The whale.
Why? The whale. Because why? I've been courting him. But that's what this business is. That's what it is. And you have to understand that the fruit that you are reaping today is because of the work you've done yesterday.
Yes.
And so every business card, every flyer, every media post, everything you do, you may not see it right away, but I'm telling you, if you keep on sowing, if you keep doing it in spite of what you see, it's going to get returned. It's going to get a return. You know, and I don't want to tell Herman's story, but, you know, Herman went back and got some roots that he planted, you know, 2 or 3 years ago. He went back and gleaned the field and got all kinds of fruits. That's why he only got that bling bling right now. But that was because, listen, that was because he planted seeds. He didn't have to go back and plant again. He just went back and watered and said, do you remember? Let me talk to you about living this. The seed was already planted, but he was able to listen. We got to understand, guys, this is our business. This is what we do. We're not Walmart. We don't have, you know, things on the shelf for people impulse buying. That's not our business. We're not in the retail business.
That's a good point.
That's not the business we're in.
Right.
We're in the network marketing business, and that takes time. It sows seeds. You never know what connection. You know, sometimes we have some events, and I do some things, and for a moment, the enemy try to talk to them and say, that was a waste of time. But then I bring myself back to, then I talk to one person about living benefits. If I talk to one person about living benefits, then it was not a waste of time. Why? Because you'll never know what that one seed can sprout.
Right.
You know what I mean? You never know what that one seed can sprout. So marketing, guys, prospecting, this is, you know, I said before, your prospect list is your inventory.
That's right.
If you have no prospects, you are out of business. You might as well stamp a big old out of business sign on your forehead. If you have nobody to call, if you have nobody to present to, if you have nobody on your prospecting list, you ain't having no money coming in the back office. It starts there, preparation, prospect. Last thing is, I missed one. Presentation. Probably got knocked off. I had to do this. Yeah, presentation. So let me talk about presentation, guys. Guys, you got to learn your presentation. You have to learn your presentation. You have to learn to present what you do to where it is appetizing to the one you're talking to. That deals with your attitude. That deals with, as I said before, your knowledge and your preparation. It deals with the knowledge of the presentation that we teach. You should know your presentation so well that you can sit up here and click and never look at the screen and talk about the whole presentation. You should know it that well. You should know your presentation so well that you can sit and talk to somebody without any visuals at all and hit all the important points of the presentation.
That's true.
You listen now, you have to practice and learn your elevator presentation. Anybody know what that is? Elevator presentation. 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You should be able to explain your business with clarity and understanding in 30 seconds to 2 minutes. That's skilling up. That's getting yourself. You have to learn your presentation. And if this is the thing, you have to learn how to present it. Because look, I say this, and I think I learned this from Bill Cosby. He says, look, you can cook the best meal. You can prepare the best steak, the best lobster. Get all the ingredients right. But if you take the lid of a trash can and put it on the lid of a trash can and try to serve it, it's no longer appetizing. Right? No one would really want it, even though it was the best steak that was probably ever prepared. Guys, we have the best product on the line. There is nothing. We've been up against New York Life. We've been up against farmers. We have actually been in presentations where they was literally right there beside us.
Yes, we have.
JD can attest to that. When we was in Dallas, we did a presentation at a church. New York Life was right across from us. They started stealing our line. Am I telling the truth? They started stealing what we was doing. Why? Because we presented well.
And told us
We
they were doing
presented
it.
well.
And told us they were doing
And
it.
told us they was doing it. Why? Because we presented well. We went to a barber shop. We had New York Life was there as well. They came, they presented, and we came in and knocked them out the park. Why? Because we have the best product, hands down. Pride America have nothing on what we have. But guys, if we're not prepared and we don't present it to people in a way that is advertised, then it seems like it's like everything else. And we're not like everything else.
That's right.
I said we're not like everything else. We have living benefits, we have IULs, we have the best part-time opportunity out there that's available. We are doing some great things with American National. I can't wait to see what AIG is going to put on the table. We got some great things that we have in our hands.
That's right.
But we have to learn the presentation. We have to know how to present it to people. We have to know how to present it off the computer, right? You got to learn your computer model. You got to learn your table presentation. If you're sitting there doing a table presentation with someone, you can't be trying to read when they read. Okay. I said you can't be trying to read when they're reading. You only got one table presentation, and you're trying to show them. You got to turn it around and all. What that mean? Okay. No, you got to already know what those numbers are. You understand what I'm saying? This is part of the power of three. If you get these three things operating in your business,
that's right.
If you prepare yourself, you get these things operating into your business. If you learn how to prospect, I'm talking about hitting the target. I'm not talking about waking up every day and shooting like a shotgun.
That's right.
No, I want to be a marksman. I want to be able to hit my target every day. And if you begin to, and if you learn how to present it in every way. Present it in the way you dress. Present it in the way you talk.
That's right.
Present it with your excitement. If you having a down day and you got a presentation, before you go in there, you need to start jumping up and down and say, you know what? I'm gonna go fight. I'm gonna go get this EI. I'm gonna go get this right, because they need to see your excitement. You gotta remind yourself, man, what we do, we help people. I'm gonna go in here and change this family life.
Right.
I'm gonna go in here and change their destiny. I'm gonna bring wealth into this family.
That's
Just
right.
to, pump yourself up. Hey, you may be sweating a little bit, but that's all right. Go ahead and pump yourself up.
Just play out of Tiger for right.
Yeah, I tired. Do something. Whatever get it done. Because why? Because that's part of the closing process.
That's right.
That's what I'm going to come talk about. So I ain't talking about that a whole lot. The presentation is part of getting them to close. If you're not excited
That's exactly right.
about what you have, why am I going to get excited about it?
That's exactly right.
How are you going to convince me? You ain't even convincing your own self. How are you going to convince me in doing that? Now, that's the power of three, guys. That's the three things that I want us to focus on. Next power, taking it to the next level. Did you click me off, did you?
No.
I'm not working.
Go ahead.
All right, the next level that I want to talk about, the three ways you need to implement this. You need to implement this daily, weekly, and monthly. Daily, weekly, and monthly. What do I mean by that? The 3 P's we talked about, the 3 P's that we dealt with was what? Presentation, prospecting, preparation, prospecting, and presentation, right?
Yes.
These 3 areas you need to implement in your life daily, weekly, and monthly. The areas I talked about when you deal with the marketing aspect, when you deal with workshops, self-knowledge, every day you need to tackle 3 of those things. It can be on a big level, it could be on a small level. It could be as simple as you going into the back office and say, you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of time today to look at a few videos. FEG gives us emails all the time about different changes that's happening. 80% of the time when I talk to an agent, they didn't even know me. Use that time to open those emails. Those are vital information. Those are workshops. Those are seminars that FEG is giving us to give us the knowledge so we can be more knowledgeable in our business. So you may just have a day. Today you may say, what are 3 things that I want to do today? I may work today. I may don't have a whole lot of time. But the power of 3, I need to do 3 things today. So whether it's contacting a prospect, whether it's going to a network meeting, whether it's going into the back office to learn something. And some of the things that I do, I even go onto YouTube. I even go onto YouTube and look at some old, Art Williams stuff. I look at some FEG stuff. I look at the way other presenters present, a lot of even FEG's PowerPoints is on YouTube. You want to look at how they present, get some ideas from them. But you need to have 3 things that you do daily. Daily, every day, 3 things, no matter what it is. It can be small. Don't take up much of your time, guys. This is your business. You have to invest your time in your business. And when you begin to implement this power of 3, just put 3 things on your schedule, whatever it is. If it's calling 3 people, today you may say, my whole day, my 3 things is I'm going to contact 3 people.
That's right.
My 3 things is I'm going to pass out 3 business cards today.
That's
I'm going to visit 3 things. Whatever it is, put something daily on your schedule that you do in 3s. Then do it weekly. Weekly. This is for the whole week. What 3 things am I going to do this week that is going to help me walk into the power of 3? What are those 3 things? Is it preparation? Do I need to study some more? Is it prospecting? Do I need to make an internet post? Am I going to post on my social media? Am I going to inbox people on my social media? What else am I going to do this week? Is it going to be a presentation? No, my goal is to get 1 presentation this week. Out of all my efforts, out of all of my daily efforts, I'm going to present to somebody this week. So a presentation may be your goal. And then you need to have monthly goals. Monthly goals are a little bit more long range.
Right.
Monthly goals may deal with meetup, social meetings I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It may deal with meetup groups meeting you talked about. And listen, you need to be attending 1 meeting somewhere.
That's right.
To network once a month. At least once a month.
Right.
That need to be on your monthly power of 3. That's more of a long range goal, right? When you begin to implement these things, these powers of 3s, this is activities, guys, that will guarantee drive your business.
That's exactly right.
But it has to be methodical. It has to be consistent. It can't be something that you do today and don't do tomorrow. If you begin to implement this power of 3 into your business, I'm telling you, you're going to see the results. You're going to see it. So it is preparation, prospecting, and what else? Presentation. Right? We implement those 3 things. We do it how? 3 ways: daily, weekly, and monthly. Right? We do these things. I'm telling you, it's going to grab your business. All right?
Sure.
Good. Yes. Question.
Actually, no, the question is
Comment.
My comment is, all these things that Bishop has talked about, I promise you, they work. But one of the things that I have really got a lot from is just being around my fellow co-workers, my fellow agents. 5 days a week, starting probably at 10 o'clock in the morning, most of the time. Somebody is here in this office. You can come in. You can sit down, you can ask questions, you can just fellowship, we can talk together, we can put together strategy. We have been doing this so much here lately until I can just feel the growth in me. It is just literally crazy. I went to get my my Bluetooth that's been out for a long time, went to get it taken care of. And the guy is a German guy and he runs that business. So I pulled up, and when I pulled up, I never noticed this before. There is a tire company that's right next to it, but it doesn't just do, it does, what do you call it, alternates, or what do you do in tires?
Alignments.
Alignments, thank you, Bishop. Alignments, he does alignments and this, that. Never noticed this guy before. So I saw him go in, and I just made a mental note to myself. I went in, I took care of some things with the guy that was working on my car. I decided I'm gonna go get my card because this is a business. and it's a cell phone business. And I'm gonna give him my card. When I got there, he was already gone. So I was like, darn. So I went to the car. I noticed he has a little flip thing on his door. I went back to my car, got my business card, took it, put it into the little door there. And so he would see it when he came in the next day. Then I took the telephone number off of his business, and then 2 days later, I called him, introduced myself, and had a little bit of conversation with him. I'm actually going to be going back to him in a couple of weeks to sit down and talk with him. But when your mindset starts to get to this place, you will find that you're more creative than what you even think.
Yeah, good. Excellent. Any other questions about the Power of Three? How they implement it? Anything like that? Very good. All right.
I'm ready to sign up again.
All right. Well, we're going to move on. Our next speaker is everybody knowing. He's our uplink. He's our North Star, if you would, that has already reached a milestone of 100,000. We believe he's on his way to 250,000.
Yes, he
For
is.
that next one.
That's the plan.
He's many years in the financial service industry, wealth of knowledge. And so we want to welcome this time Mr. Henry Taylor.
Yeah.
All right. That's yours.
That's yours. No, that's yours.
All right. Guys, thank you all. Thank you all so much for inviting me. I'm going to share my presentation this afternoon already, this morning, with my who is Tom Howell. He's going to be doing a part of my time.
Awesome.
But what I want to do is I want to emphasize some of what Bishop was saying. I mean, this business is not a business that you want to treat it like a part-time. This is not a part-time business. This is a full-time opportunity. You can operate on a part-time basis. You can earn part-time money, but this is a business that can change your life.
Ooh, yes.
This business can become a full-time business, and not only that, it can affect your whole family.
Mm-hmm.
When we do what we do every day, and we share with people throughout this industry, throughout our market, we're offering them an opportunity that can change the lives of them and their family.
Mm-hmm.
So the points that I want to make, and I'm going to go through these quickly, is I'm talking about sales for the long haul. Okay, I was talking, my main point is about closing the sales. But see, here's the thing that you have to understand about closing the sales. Closing the sales, you got to get the whole picture before you get started. So on my presentation slide, I put all the information up there, and then I'm gonna go back and go through each one of those points briefly. But the reason why I put it all up there, what I want you to visualize and what I want you to think about, especially when it comes to this business, think about the whole plan all the way through. Think about your goal. You have to set goals. Excuse me. Think about the goal. Think about where you want to go. Then go back to the very beginning and then start. Mm-hmm. That gives you motivation. That gives you the power, the emphasis. That gives you everything you need in order to be able to get through everything every day. Because then when you go back and think about, oh yeah, this is where I'm going.
That's right.
This is the whole picture right here. You know, this is what it's going to look like when this is all over. Oh yeah, I need to go and get this sale. I need to go talk to this person. I need to do that daily activity. I need to do those 3 things today. I need to do those 3 things this week. Because you know what the big picture is all about.
Yeah.
But if you can't see the big picture, many times you're just dealing with one piece at a time. It's almost like you're in the forest, but you really can't see all the trees unless you're way back there. When you look at the big picture, it's like looking at the whole picture. Then you come back and then you take it one step at a time. The first thing you want to do is you want to be a product of the product. You got to sow into your trainer, sow into your business before you get started.
That's exactly right.
Because if you don't sow, first of all, you're not going to reap. This whole thing is about sowing and reaping. You know, Bishop talked about, okay, well, you're going to you're gonna have to, when you sow, have anybody ever seen someone put a seed in the ground and then the next day they go out and get the harvest?
No.
It just don't happen like that. It don't happen
Like
like that.
that.
So you got to sow and then expect to get the seed later. You
Yeah.
got to trust
Awesome.
God. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in what you're doing.
That's right.
But you're not gonna get the result the next day. So you got to sow. You got to sow in. And one of the ways you sow is to be a product of the product. That gives you conviction. You feel good about what you're doing.
That's right.
You done already tested it already. You already drove the car. So now, when you try to talk to somebody else about driving it, you can tell them all about the car because you're driving it already.
Yeah.
When you have the product, then you know what you're talking to other people about, and you understand the benefit. So the first thing you want to do is be a product of the product. And sow into that trainer, because the trainer is the one that's training you. You don't really know that much about it at the beginning. So that is one of the key features. And you might think, well, okay, I thought he was going to talk about closing a sale. You can close sales when you got conviction about you already got it done yourself.
Mm.
See? Because you're a product yourself. The second thing, you must give. Sow into your business. You got to give into the business to get something out of it. But Bishop was saying earlier, he said plant. Okay, well, plant seed into your business. The only way you're going to get a big harvest later is you put a bunch of seed out there.
There you
You
go.
plant a little seed, you're going to get a little harvest.
Okay.
You put a lot of seed out there, you're going to get a lot of harvest. Okay, with planting the seed, that's a real important area. The next area is invest. You got to invest in your business. You got to reseed, you got to water, you got to remove weeds, you got to do all that in order for you to have a good productive seed. So know that you got to invest. Well, investing is you've got to invest what you have into your business in order to get what you want.
Okay.
And what you have right now is your market. Your market is just like your market is like your inventory. If you were trying to build a house and you want this big, beautiful house, you got to have some wood, some bricks, and all this different stuff. You got to bring that out there before you get the house. You got to invest in your business. And investing is bringing something to the table. Then you got to reseed, you put more back in, you got to water it, you got to do the work. The last part is you're going to have to purge. That's the part that most people don't. That exchange part is called the purging in order for you to get to the big stuff. You know, when you think of a tree that's out there and you have some fruit trees. Now, any of you, if you ever had fruit trees in your yard or fruit trees in your backyard, your trees will start to produce at a certain point. They start off, they look okay. But all of a sudden you go out there, when it's the right season, you purge them. That next season, all those fruit, the fruit will produce much more than they would have before. They look healthier. They all of a sudden they're bigger. Everything is better after it's been purged. But that hurt. Could you imagine if you was a tree and then God came and just trim your arm back and trim this back in order for something bigger to come out? You can imagine. So thank God we don't have to be purged that way. But the tree is like, you can imagine in the tree's mind, he's like, man, you're cutting this and cutting this. How can I expect this to come out and be more? Well, God deals with us in a different way when we purge. But I'm using that analogy. But really what I'm saying is, at a certain point, you're going to have to give up something from your business in order to get a whole lot.
That's right.
And the purging is when you give up like a replacement, when you start doing your co-leadership thing. That's the purging. You're giving up something, but you've already gone through all this through this part of it.
That's right.
So that's in the giving back to your business. But that's when you start getting into the greater part of it. And then you must put in the time and the work. And finally, gathering the harvest. Gathering the harvest is really going to be a part that is when you start getting the result from what you've done. When you purge and you water and you see, that's when you're going to start getting it. You say, well, what in the world does that have to do with sales? Well, what it has to do with the sales part of it is you got to see all of this before you even start getting in there trying to make a sale. Now, when you got all that, when you see that, and you see what your bigger goal is, when you sit down with a customer, your conviction level is going to be way up here instead of just you know, well, you know, just kind of half-hearted about it. You're going to have a high level of conviction when you know where you're going. This right here is really the big picture. And that's what I wanted to paint. I wanted to paint a snippet of the big picture. There's details on each one of these areas, but one of the things that Tom is going to talk about is a very important part of closing the sales.
Mhm.
And it is going to be a very important part about getting clients to even close the sales. Really, when it comes down to closing the sale, you don't really have to close the sale. Your presentation should close the sale. When you do a good job, and when you have conviction about it, the person, you're not really selling.
Right.
You've educated the person to the point where they buy it themselves. They make a decision. All you're doing is bringing them to a point of decision. And once you bring them to that point of decision, they make the decision. All you're doing is say, okay, well, can I get your address? How do you spell your name? And you just go on to go right on into the sale. Go right on into the paperwork. Because they've already sold themselves.
I'll say something real quick.
Just
I have said that so many times to people, even when I want to do presentations. I'm an educator. I'm not a salesman. It's going to sell itself. I'm going to give them the education. They're going to make a decision. It's simple.
Mhm.
And the way I present that education is pretty much going to determine that outcome.
Yeah.
I call myself a salesman. I call myself an educator.
educator. And the more you focus on that, that's what's going to produce. Well, so when I get up here and I'm talking about sales, really, I want you to see the picture of sales for the long haul. Sales for the long haul is, first of all, you can't expect everything overnight. You've got to build into this. You've got to sow into this. You've got to listen to your trainer. I'm just going to say this one thing, and then I'm going to turn it over to the next person. In that second part, if I was elaborating, I'm not going to elaborate today, where it talks about giving back to your business and investing.
Mhm.
One of the most important tests that you'll go through in this business is when you have to give up your market to your upline or to your trainer. Because it's human nature to want to hold on to that until it's time for you to use it. But people, I promise you, you cannot sell your market. You cannot sell your market because your market knows that you're a school teacher. Your market knows that you're a truck driver. Your market knows that you work you're the manager at the grocery store. You come and talk to them about this financial services thing, all you're going to do is run them away. All you're going to do is run them away. The system is designed so that you take your market and you give it to your trainer. That's your investment. That's what you bring to the table. That's part of your payment to build your business. So now, when I go to that next person, when we go to see one of your people, you're there for credibility only. You know that person knows you, trust you, love you. They don't know me. You told them that I was the expert at this. They listen to what I say, and they look over at you, and you nod your head, yeah? Okay, I'm doing the presentation. I'm gonna do a great presentation. They're gonna buy from me because your credibility. But if you were doing it, or you went to go sell them, they're gonna look at you and say, yeah, but you haven't been in no financial service. You're not an expert. You're the truck driver. You
That's good.
you're the manager at JCPenney. I mean, I love you and everything, and I believe what you're saying, but you don't even know what you're talking about. I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But if you tell them that I'm the expert, they sit there, I do the presentation, you look at them and say, yeah, I'm saying, yeah, just shake your head. We got a sale. Closing the sale. That's closing the sale right there. You can do that all day long. And then as soon as you get to the point where we've done a good job, we're gonna make that presentation simple. When we come back and bring the business back to them, bring them their policy back, we're gonna ask them, do you know anybody that might be interested in making an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month on a part-time basis? I know it might not be you. They said, well, maybe. Well, could you do what we just did? Yeah. Now you just recruited. Okay, so now you did recruiting. Now you work with your market, your sales, your business, your growth is gonna come from that other person that we just recruited. Because now that person can take you to their friends and say, he's the expert. Because that person's friends ain't gonna buy from you because you used to work for you was the teacher at the school.
Yeah.
Okay, if they know you as a teacher at the school, you know 50 people.
Yeah.
Okay, but now I'm gonna tell them that Donna's the expert. But Donna can't be the expert to her friends. She can be the expert to
Good
you.
point,
That's
Nate.
good. That's a
Good
good
point,
point.
Nate.
Right.
Good point.
When you do that, every time it works.
Good point.
That's
Nate.
why you have to do it in threes when you train them.
Be the expert to your friend.
You can't be the expert to your friends. They already know you. You just borrowed $50 from them last time. You know, yeah.
This is good stuff, Herman.
So that is the essence of what it's gonna take to make the sales and to make the growth. Because you'll make more sales being the person that they love and know, and you sit there and let your people be your investment. Let your trainer do the work. They will get you more sales and more recruits than you can get on your own. Don't call your people and tell them, oh, I just got this new thing. It's about finance, and they got living benefit. Tax free shot me your 401k ain't nothing. You go and tell them that, and they're like, you know, but then it's like, but you've been driving trucks for 30 years.
Yeah.
That would not work. But then you the truck driver. Now you take your friend who recruited, let your friend tell your people, tell his people that you're the expert, or you become an expert, and you say, yeah, in the past I was driving truck. I've been driving trucks for 30 years. But once I saw this program and I got involved, I learned what I need to learn. This is one of the greatest things, and you need to listen to what I got to say, because I know what I'm talking about. And your friend said, yeah, he do. He knows what he's talking about. They're gonna listen to you. They're gonna buy from you and him. That's gonna be his training sales. He's gonna get 30 sales instead of 3.
Yeah.
He's gonna get 5 people recruited instead of none.
Right.
Now your business is growing. That's the way you ought to do it. The sales and the training results are always gonna come from the second level, not the first.
Wow.
Know that, and that'll make it happen.
That's good.
I'm gonna stop mine at this point, because Tom has some things that is very important that has to do with 3
This
ways.
is good stuff.
It has to do with 3 ways, and using the 3 ways as another way to help get your prospects, help get prospects from the very beginning, help call and set appointments and like that. We have a great system already. We already have some things that we do that's very important, you know, working with people, getting referrals and so on references and like that. But this is another point that that Tom is going to share with us, and it's going to be a very, you're going to be glad you heard it.
All right.
So Tom is right. If Tom brought me into the business, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today. And so that's how all of this started.
Well, but none of us would be.
There you go. There you go. So Tom,
I'm a proud papa.
Good job. Good job.
And I'm proof that you can get it right.
Yes.
Well, one of our agencies in California, and before I do that, by the way, Herman, would you come on up here for a moment?
oh, sure, will be glad to. And also, I'd like the bishop to come on.
Remember that surprise I was talking about last night?
Somebody take a picture.
Well, let's do this out the way.
I didn't say I was bringing it.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this is a proud day for me, because you know when I recruited these 2 into the business, I mean, it's been a life changer, and this is the beginning of what it's all about in this business. You go through some of the things that I just talked about, but you'll never get to this point if you don't do some of the things I just shared about being willing to give away your first level of people, real references, and use that second level, and then going forward, that'll make the difference. This is your result.
That's right.
This is what it's all about. You're gonna find we don't need everybody in Austin. We need a few good people. See, all you have to do is look for a few good people. This is what this is the result. This is the result of finding a few good people. We just need one or two, and then it starts to expand from that. So this is what it's all about. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Donna. All right, congratulations.
All right. Come on up with Tom.
Amen. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Justin didn't tell me either. But that's good.
All right. And I need one more with my corporate team. Because without you guys, we cannot be here.
Yes, yes, yes. Corporate team.
Robert said, don't tell them.
Team. Oh, we got one more.
Come on, sis. That's my sister. Come on.
Come on, sister.
Yeah, where is that?
JD working both cameras. Look at
Say
him.
corporate.
Corporate.
Y'all look at me. Good.
All right.
Excellent. All right. Thank you guys. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Tom.
I hope I didn't break anybody's leg.
This is nice.
Just as soon as I lose 30 pounds, they ain't making right. Just like this.
This is beautiful.
Oh,
Okay. We're doing it, baby. We're going to get y'all's next. We got a few more. We got a
Yeah,
few
we got
more.
a few more teams.
It is.
Yes, I went over to the same place and got it made. So now they have that part at the top.
Oh, man.
They don't have that.
Yeah,
So can I take Bishop's back? If it's already there, I can take Bishop's back in.
They already got it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, whatever you.
Because I made a
They already
mistake.
have it on file. Is it up on your name or is it your name?
It's under my name, but
Okay.
but they know the connection because when they saw this, they said, "Oh yeah, they already doing stuff here."
Well, good. I'm glad you did this. I'm gonna take Bishop's back next week, so I can get this up here. But you still want the logo on there, don't you, Bishop?
Yeah, we have all. See, they have all the one.
Yes, but see, yours is your group. This
Right.
is from
This
the
is from
company to
Freedom
you.
Okay, all right.
what
Then
you're doing,
LBRS.
LBRS is for your
Okay.
team.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. Then I'll
so
take it back to what Bishop and I talked.
Yeah, so what you want to do is keep yours like it is, because yours is you recognize your people.
Well, but I have
This
to take
is
it back.
this is us in the company recognizing y'all.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna just CEO.
You can vote it in there.
CEO Bishop. So I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change it. When you come back next time, you'll sit on the wall.
Okay.
Excuse us, Tom. This is beautiful. Thank
That's
you.
okay. I
I
wish I
can't stop looking at it.
Okay. One of the agencies in our team in California recruited a lady from WFG. It has about 800 agents. That sounds all exciting, but she was talking about her upline with WFG. And this fella, about 3 years ago, was making about $700,000 a year. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Now he's making $5 million a year.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And she asked him, what did you do differently to take off like that? Not that we don't think 700 is taking off. And he said, I quote, all I do is sell the dream. So all I do is sell the dream. When you bought into it, Bishop, was it the dream of being able to help people and the dream of being able to get back up there financially?
That's right.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we offer to people, right? And in the process, we're protecting them. If they live too long, if they get sick, or if they die. So we're gonna talk about how we do that. And we do it with speed. Okay, with speed. So a little history. In 1970, there were approximately 500,000 agents serving 200 million people. Today, there's 150,000 agents serving 320. So, are we in a death spiral, or is this the greatest opportunity we've ever had?
Greatest opportunity.
Greatest opportunity. You're right. Now, if I know how to push this thing. All right, help me out.
He's probably not.
No, you know,
It's not working.
Probably needs.
There we go.
You need to point it over here,
Go which
It's
way?
going over here.
just over here.
But it's not going.
That's
Well, this is, I
That
have a
There
tendency.
it is.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't do.
It didn't do it. It blinks, but it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you got to go to that. No, this.
That's the story of my life, I'm telling you.
Okay, now? There we go.
There we
Okay.
go,
So I'm
okay.
gonna hit this.
That one right there, that's not a problem. Okay, so how do you build a successful base shop? Let's look at the synergism of numbers. If 5 agents get 20 prospects for a business opportunity presentation, that's one way to get 100 in a room. Or maybe 20 agents getting 5 apiece. Or if you really have some go-getters, 10 agents that get 10 apiece. Or 50 agents that get 2, maybe 100 agents that just get 1. The bottom line is, the key is creating the culture that focuses on the base shop. The truth is that it will be a combination of all of these. You're going to have people that are going to take it serious, like the people in this room and the people listening. Have people that treat it as a hobby, not part-time, right? Maybe sometime, and more than likely whenever I get around to it, right? So, and you've seen those round tours, right? Right in the mail?
Right.
Okay. So, if getting prospects to a BAP, or BOP, excuse me, is the most important way you can win. Speed is the most important tool that you have. Okay? Not getting somebody every once in a while. Those 100 agents getting 1, they're not ambitious, are they? Okay. So, your message must be understandable and clear. Don't be indecisive. Your message must be concise. Don't go down a rabbit trail. Get to the point. Your message must be simple. Don't spill your guts trying to explain everything, right? We've had that problem. Everybody goes through that. Don't do that. Especially those of you that are trainees. That's what you're doing. You're lining up your seeds, getting ready to plant. Now, if a farmer goes out and has sons and daughters, and he's going to teach them how to farm, he goes out and he says, well, this is the row, we're going to put seeds on it. When it grows up, we're going to harvest it. You got to water it in between. See you later. That's not helping at all, is it?
Right.
That's why we do 3-way. So, your message must be most effective if you present them to many people, excuse me. So, how many people do you want to get in touch with a week? How are you going to schedule that? You know, those are things that you have to think about. Speed, keep in mind, is the most important tool. Patient with people you are trying to recruit, but you must be aggressive in your efforts to reach as many, right? Passively aggressive? That's not really a good one probably, but patiently aggressive, right?
Okay.
You have to know where to be patient and where to be aggressive. And where do you want to be aggressive? With your speed, right? Okay, so this is how you build a successful base shop fast. Be proactive with your downline. Now I'm talking to trainers now. Base shop builders develop their leaders, right? I worked with Herman, and I've worked with others. Herman works with you and people in your group. You're working with your people in your group. Pastor JD is doing the same thing. Do 3-way calls to help your base shop grow. If you're a trainer, you need to be on the phone with your trainee. And not every once in a while, this should be an everyday situation. And do you have to be in the same location with your trainee? No. 3-way is 3-way. You're all on a call, right? That's how Ron Blumenkemper, the chairman of the board, helped to get this whole thing started. He was doing 3-ways with people. You've heard the story of him and Alice. Alice got him on a Sunday after church.
Yeah, right.
And they did 17 freeways. That's the kind of activity that'll get you someplace.
Mhm.
Talk to the prospects of your agent on three-way calls. So you got a trainee. That trainee gets those people on a phone with you. And you were talking about it earlier. The trainee is the trust factor. They trust. My friends trust me,
That's right.
but I don't know how to align the front end of a car. So if I were going to do that and it was a three-way, I would call or have somebody on the line with me when I called a friend about aligning their car, and that other person would be somebody that knew what they were talking about. And that's what we do. Okay? The credibility is the person that the upline, the person that's going to help. That's the credibility. The trust is the trainee. The credibility is the trainer. You are the credibility. Your agent is the trust. So, speed. How many calls can you make? Duplication. Train all your agents to do this. Listen, if you do this, they learn it, they do it, they teach it, they do it. You see the pattern?
Yes.
This is a culture. This is not, hey, some of you ought to do this and some of you ought to do that. This is a culture. This is what should be going on. This is the fastest and most effective way to reach people. Then you can bring them in, and Bishop can put them on fire.
Yes, he can.
Okay? But you get the gist of what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay. It can be done anywhere. You don't have to even be in the same state. Think about that. You want to go national? The ability to build big. It's exactly where I'm at now, where I've been blessed, having people in multiple states. Okay, but you still got to do those three ways. You got to get them going. Okay. Address objections of centers of influence immediately. Stop uneducated negative influence. So you got somebody that you've been talking to, your upline helped you with them, and they're coming back to you and saying, well, my brother or my uncle said, well, you know, this is just like everything else and blah, 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 right? And you're like, well, there goes everybody I was working on, right? No, let's get him on a three-way. And let's talk to him and explain what's going on. You know what's going to happen? He's going to say, oh, I didn't realize that. Well, that makes all the sense in the world. I'm 100% behind it. What do you have then? Something better than what you had before you started objecting.
Yeah.
But you have to address that objection. You can't just, oh, man, I can't believe that guy blew it for me. Right? You can't. You have to object. You have to face any kind of an objection like that head on. If you do, good things will happen.
Right.
Get on the call with downline to correct any misgivings. So if somebody does not understand, or your trainee took it upon themselves to open their mouth and got things screwed up, get back on the phone with them. But make sure your trainee knows if they're getting objections, call me. Let's get back on the phone and let's get this shored up. Connect prospects with people in the organization that have things in common. Listen, if I have somebody that's a teacher and they say, well, I don't know if this really fits with what I'm doing, I say, hey, you know what? Let me get Herman on the phone. Herman taught high school. He taught college. He is a big member of the organization. He can probably explain things to you. You see what I'm saying? You're connecting people that have things in common. Bishop, JD, you'll be talking to people that are pastors or in churches.
So we can't even get to.
Right,
Absolutely.
right. Yeah. I can't talk to them. Bishop, can you help me out here? You see what I'm saying? Remember, you are the credibility. Your downline is the trust. Okay? Never forget that. Herman hit it on the head before I even got up here, and it is so critical.
Big hammer.
I trust you. I don't trust you about finances, but I trust you as a person.
Right.
Okay? So you're going to make sure that the person that you have me talk to knows what they're talking about. Oh, Herman? Well, he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Credibility. Okay. Recruit potential representatives for your downline. Okay, that's one of the things that you're going to be doing when you do this. You're going to be recruiting potential representatives for your base shop with help from your upline. So Herman is helping you guys on all sorts of things, but he might run across somebody he needs my help with. So I'm there to be his credibility, and he is the trust. You see what I'm saying? It works all sorts of ways. Don't think I haven't called Ron Petrinovich and asked him to get on the phone with me, because I have. Okay? He's my credibility. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Recruit potential clients for your downline. Listen, when you're doing this, what are you creating? Because what happens when they say, I love this, I want to do it, it's time to onboard, right?
All right.
That's when you set the appointments.
Yay.
Okay, that's when you set the appointments. You got a recruit, you got a sale, probably multiple sales. Okay. Recruit potential representatives and challenge them to do 3 ways. Well, you ready to get started? We just signed you up. You want to do the same thing we're doing, right? Get your list together. Okay. Get referrals. And address objections from a position of credibility. Okay? So what does it take to be qualified? Someone who has attended a base shop presentation meeting. Someone who has been to a private home presentation or a weekly meeting. Has visited the FEG website and have seen a video presentation. Maybe read a book like The Power of Zero. Attended a corporate base shop presentation with Ron Petrinovich every Monday at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. He puts on a very good presentation. So rules of common sense when doing a 3-way call. The trainees' do's and don'ts. Trainees should always give background information to the trainer about the prospect before the call. Hey, this guy was a professional baseball player. He had a lot of money, but it sort of dried up on him. He didn't have anybody that gave him good advice, blah, 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 right? Okay, so you know a little bit about the guy. Or, hey, this woman's husband died. He drowned. And he had some insurance and whatnot, but she's sort of struggling, and you see what I'm saying? You try to get your trainee to understand that they need to give you any background information on their list of people, okay, that they possibly can, so that you can address things, so that you can open up a dialogue and you can connect with that person.
Yeah.
Okay. Do not act familiar with introducing your upline on a 3-way call. Listen, if I get Ron Petrinovich on the phone, I introduce him to somebody, it's Mr. Petrinovich, the CEO of our company. It's not, hey, this dude Ron is my friend.
Right.
Okay? Right? So when you have a trainee doing something, they address it. Well, this is Bishop Lovelace. This is Pastor JD. This is Mr. Taylor. Okay? So what do? Do your 3-way calls on a conference call. Don't do them on cell phones, just cell phone. They're free. You can go to freeconferencing.com and you will not have as many hiccups. How many times you try to get on a 3-way and this person it drops it or this or that. But if everybody has a conference number to call into, you're okay, right? Right. So get your conference call number. Have it at hand. Let it be something that you are very familiar with, and you can get out to other people so that they can call in on that same line on 3-ways. Edify the upline trainer. It supports credibility. Bishop, I want you to know a little bit about Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor has been in the business for 29 years, and he has been extremely successful in everything that he's done. He's a master of helping people with their financial planning, and he's very well known in our industry in Austin, Texas, or whatever you want to say, but building that person up. If the prospect has an objection, concern, or confusion about something, mention it right away so that the upline trainer can address it. Okay, trainee. Person said, I don't know, I'm really not too much into life insurance. Well, you tell your upline what their concern is, and then you tell them, then you can counter. You can say, well, listen, this is living benefit life insurance. You don't have to die to use it. Or, I'm not sure I can get it. I have high blood pressure. Don't worry about that. We can put it through underwriting, and if that's all you have, and it's you have in control, don't worry about it. We'll be able to take care of it. See, just know if there is a concern, so that in advance, so that you can tell your upline trainer, so that they can address it. Okay. Now these are just a continuation of 5. Get in the power of 0. Wealth building. Red line, blue line. Becoming an entrepreneur. These are all things that you can talk to these people about. Okay? The American dream. The lack of younger agents in our industry. If the prospect has a financial background, licensed, then cover the equity share points with it. Tell them where you are, and ask them where are you in your career, or what phase are you in, or do you need more income? What would you like to change in your way of life? Ask them what it is that would be of interest to them as far as using this as an opportunity. Okay. If they're interested in moving forward, see if they have other people on their mind as clients or recruits. Don't let that pass. Remember that we're passing the ball. You got to teach every person to be a trainee and then a trainer. Trainee, trainer, trainee, trainer. Everyone. Okay? If they don't want to play, that's fine. Here's a book. Go read it. Come back when you're ready. And while that's going on, you're building an empire. All right? Okay, if they do have people in mind, schedule calls for that same night. Don't wait. You're not some lawyer that charges $50,000 per client, and I can see you maybe next month on such and such a date. Well, let's get them on the phone. Let's get started now. That's work. But if you want to get ahead, that's what you're going to do, right? Okay. So, if they do have those people in mind, catch them while they are hot. Either way, always schedule appointments for onboarding. Remember that all of this is great. You got somebody excited, but if you don't schedule the appointment to sit down with them, right, Justin? You don't do that, what happens? Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Okay, trainee, trainer, on board, make a sale, get the list, new trainee, and you keep doing it until your trainees become proficient at being. Caution you want as many trainers as you possibly can in your downline, because that means there's a whole lot of activity going on. When there's a whole lot of activity, there's a whole lot of production. When there's a whole lot of production, bills get paid. Okay? We get to live that dream we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, always identify the downline trainee. Oh, well, we just identified the trainer. How about the trainee? Hey, Herman is really a great guy, and since he's come on board, he's fast to understand these things. It won't be long before he's doing what I'm doing. I'm really proud of the progress that he's made.
Amen.
Okay, you
That's
see what I'm
awesome.
saying?
Yes.
You edify your downline too. But remember that if you're the trainee, whoever you're introducing them to is Mr. Mrs. Pastor. Do not get into the compensation plan at all. Everybody starts out as a rep. Okay? They can learn the compensation later, but I guarantee you start getting into that, what's going to happen is, what does everybody want? If they see the whole list of the compensation, what do they want? Right? They don't understand what it takes to get there or anything else. So then you've got this problem you should never have. Okay? So don't get into compensation with it. Most of them don't know. If you told them 10%, they probably think it was a good deal. Okay? So you start them out where they need to be, because you know what? The most precious commodity you have, is time. And if you're wasting your time with people and they're making money and you're not, you got a problem. Okay? And so do they, because you're not going to do that. Ask a simple question like, tell me about yourself, or what is your story? Find a connection and build on it. Ask them, how much do you know about FEG? That opens the door for you to be able to explain what you want to explain to them about it. Or LBRS, right? Go into your 2-minute story about FEG's crusade or opportunity and what it means to you. Ask them what intrigued them about this opportunity. Cover our crusade, living benefits, financial opportunity, and wealth accumulation. So, the faster the better. 3 kinds of people explain. Set up the boarding process. Of course, that's part of the onboarding. Schedule a time with the spouse. Schedule time to meet as fast as you can. So, 3 kinds of people exposed to FEG. Those that are influenced by others' opinions, initially excited, but quit after getting rejected, sort of like the parable, right? The roots that don't grow deep. Great at presenting and exposure, but not good at closing. In other words, not getting results. And then the people you're looking for. Those that are great at presenting and exposure and disciplined to follow up. Right here. Very good.
Very good.
And that's it. There's a whole lot more to it. And you can expand on that.
That's good.
And I can see
That's
some
good
places
stuff.
where Michael changed it and it's got to be corrected on the PowerPoint. But it's pretty effective as it is. You just got to know some of those things are popping up before they're supposed to.
Now, we have it. We have it, so we can actually send it out to our people, because we already have it here. So
Yeah.
we'll take it like it is right now.
Now, let me tell you something just real quick about this next meeting that we're going to have.
The 16th, 14th, and
The 15th, 16th of September. We're going to have breakouts. Breakouts are what I used to do back when I lived where they're having the RVP. Okay. And they're very, very effective. We're going to have 3 breakout rooms. We have a general room, and then as the general session ends at about 11 o'clock, we're going to go 9 to 4 on Saturday. Okay. We're going to go 2 hours with the general session, and then we're going to take a short break. And they're going to set up. They just have those room dividers. They're going to set up, and they're going to move we're all classrooms, so we're going to move all the tables around so it faces one direction. One room is going to be alternately Anaco, AIG. We're going to cover back office and product in one for each, and software in the other each. We're going to have one room that's set up for DVMs and above, and we're going to have several different sessions, and we're going to have one set up for reps and DMs. Okay. Now on Friday night, I want at least 50 new people at the BOP. We're going to do a base shop building presentation. It's going to have a lot of things in it. The 3-way will be in it, among other things, from 1 to 4:30. And really, if you got new people, you need to give them that. And Herman's going to be involved.
This is gonna be a
some
Friday
stuff.
night, right?
Friday
Friday
afternoon.
night. Okay,
Friday afternoon, 1 till 9 o'clock at night.
okay, that's perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
and we're
Crown Plaza.
yeah, down at Crown Plaza.
Quick question, I might be getting confused. Do you have any breakout classes that's gonna be Friday night?
No. We're not going to do breakouts on Friday night, but we are going to do the mortgage presentation 4:30 to 5. Give or take. We're going to break from that point until 6:30 when we do meet and greet, and then 7 o'clock we're going to do the BOP. After the BOP, we're going to do award presentation. We'll do one for somebody that's not going to be there because
Who's that?
Are you going to RVP school
We,
on the
Yeah,
15th?
we working on
we're working on it, yeah. We'll talk to you about this some more. 'Cause-
it. It's already school twice a year, once a year.
yeah, you twice.
He
You
was
can
saying
miss
that
it.
I was thinking about missing this
Okay.
one because I
We
wanted
were
to be,
thinking
I
about
wanted to be at this.
Well, in that case, then I can make another announcement. Okay.
Okay.
Here's what I have decided. Whatever leadership brings the most new people does the.
You can do that, Bishop.
That'll be right up down the line.
You got to understand. I mean, I got all sorts of flack on this one. First, I got flack because I wasn't going to be an owner of Build Big. If we got to wait for one of the three of you to show up. Exactly. That's a good question. So that we ended that one real quick.
Yeah.
But the next one was, oh, wait a minute. The person that brings the most people might not be the best presenter. And I said, well, we can have the best presenter, not have incentive, and that person can get up there and talk to one or two people. I'd rather have somebody that's doing it for the first time that's talking to 100 people, and they brought 50 of them in.
That's right.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do. All right. There's certain things I had to acquiesce to, but that was not one of them. Okay, so you want to be that person or that group, and get out there and get busy.
Okay.
Because that to me, that BOP on Friday night is the most important thing. The most important. Did I say the important thing that we can do?
That's going to lead into the Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
And that gets us on all of the ways we've been talking about, right? We get stuck on 3, I guess. That's okay. We can go to 5 later.
Steve. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. And this is, I'm jumping off of the event, because I want for you to give us like maybe 3 to 4 minute brief, just a 3 to 4 minute brief opinion or description of the RVP school, because there's not a lot out there that we can read and understand and grasp. As a matter of fact, we only got a taste of it when we saw it actually on the list of events for FEG when we were in Vegas. And so can you pretty much tell us a little bit more?
I've been to every RVP except the one that's going to happen in September. And the reason we did what we did was because we couldn't get a different date. It just, it wasn't coordinating as far as being able to do it. We were going to do it in August, but Steve Little took that one as well as November. Petro's supposed to come out in November. He was going to stay with me for a couple of days, which would have been cool. We might have been able to get people around, for him to maybe pop in and say something to him at a meeting or something. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I talked to Alice. Alice was planning on having something in October. I said, if you want me to be there to help, it's got to be late October. She's already got like 11 people going to the thing, and they've already bought their tickets and everything, and she's upset because she really wants to do this. And when she found out we were doing breakouts,
Oh man, that's what I'm. Oh, that's awesome right there.
I have a question about the breakouts. Will that be a breakout morning, since we're going to be bringing people, and that BOP meeting is going to be so powerful that we're going to have them right on Saturday?
Yeah.
Is that so the rep is going to cover new recruits?
and we're going to say yes. There's 3 rooms. One room's going to be dedicated to that for all 4 sessions. We're doing 4 sessions, 50 minutes each.
Okay.
There'll be different topics that are being hit. And if you're going to be here, you may be speaking at one of those. Okay. So, really, really important, because when we get bigger and we've got more room and we've got more things that we can do, then we can add another room or two. And what I used to do in the past, we have like 6 rooms, and we'd have these breakouts. And we had so many things going on because we were doing mortgages, and we had all sorts of, Aviva would be there, and whoever, different companies, reps. We would actually, this hour you can go to this, or this. This hour you can go to that, and there'd be a little break in between. And what we're going to do this week, or this coming meeting, is we're going to have box lunches. They're included in the cost. Longer, instead of 10 minutes in between, you'll have 20 minutes at that point, and you'll be able to go pick out the lunch you want. And that's one of the reasons why you want to get your people registered before, I would say about 4 days before the end of, before the event, because people don't think about this, but they don't know how many box lunches to make. They don't know how many of what kind, because you're going to be able to pick what you want. And if people, it's they don't think about it, but it's really inconsiderate to just show up. But if you do, it's going to cost $35 instead of $25, and if it's a couple, it's going to cost, I think, $50 or $60 instead of $40. Okay. So, I mean, we have a discount if you bring in a spouse, and I really encourage that, because even though they may not be signing up, if they know what's going on and they're on board with it, then you've got somebody that's going to be supported.
That's exactly
right? Okay, I'm done. Unless
Can you go back to
Sure.
the RVP school?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
RVP.
Bishop threw you off.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna find out when I get there. So I don't.
But I want to know, because Ronnie said one of us. So.
It's just a more polished presentation of all the things you hear all the time. Honestly, I mean, you get an award probably, or I graduated from, all that kind of stuff. But have you been to one?
Yeah, the one in Houston.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, did you see anything different?
No.
Okay. There's going to be some differences now because Petro is not in admin anymore. That's sort of scary, but at the same time, it's good because even Bloom isn't as good as Petro when it comes to recruiting. And he's been about every day, every other day, he's telling me, hey, man, they do, Mr. Circuit, CEO. I just talked to 225 people. He's just gobbling it up. Yeah.
So what do you think the next one's going to be? Because I mean, certainly we need to
It'll
go.
be in Houston because
I can go.
yeah, it'll be in Houston because you can't have them all in California. That's too expensive for everybody.
That's what we were looking at. That's why we're just going to send Bishop because.
I mean, I am not going to tell you not to go.
Well, we've already made a decision.
Yeah.
I want to be here for September.
Okay.
I'll go to next.
Well,
people is we want to have the most people, our group, until Friday for everybody in the whole Texas area.
yeah, you bring
That's
the
what we
most
want.
people in, you
So-
do the meeting. And you guys want to get up and do it together, I don't care how you do it.
Well,
Just,
I mean,
just make it
there's well, do it together.
Yeah.
Do one part, get a break, and then the other do the last part.
See, I like when you're going to do it.
Oh,
I hope you don't do it because you brought 5. No, he's sitting back and going, yeah.
You talk with
Quiet.
me. You better talk with me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, then,
JD people got people
JD
free down from
end up
Houston.
doing whatever, But that's the thing. We this is awesome. We're in Austin now. We're not having to drive to Houston. We're not having to drive to Dallas. We need to pack out Austin because we need to show big that we are Austin for FEG.
Well, yes, and I'm looking at a little bit bigger picture. I want this every month, not just here, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, even once in a while down in the valley.
Okay.
But we've got, see, we're not going to grow to those. Listen, this year alone, WFG, who does not have the product we have and does not have the compensation plan that we have, not even close on either one, are going to do $1 billion of premium. We're struggling to do 35 million. Why? Let's go back to the guy that was doing 700,000, which is pretty good, who's now doing 5 million a year. All he's doing is selling the dream. Three-way.
Wow, that's good.
Good.
That's good stuff.
So yeah, they'll go through things. They'll go through presentations. People will talk. The atmosphere is cool because where they're doing it at Monarch Dunes in the Woodlands is a community right across the street from another golf course community where I used to own a couple of houses.
It's in League City. It's going to be in League City.
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about
He's in
on the Central
California.
Coast.
Okay.
On the Central Coast. And it's a beautiful facility, and everybody will get psyched up just because of that. Okay, you're up next, right? And I took all sorts of fun.
No, ask Pastor JD Bush.
JD's up. Mr. Patient.
You gonna be able to
Was there a presentation?
He's giving us updates.
Yeah, then.
You brought donuts.
Look at that. Look at that.
Come on, Don.
No, you're not good for me. You're not good for me, Tom. Tom, you're not good for me when it comes to that
We're
category.
so packed up today.
Every day.
You're such a
No,
blessing.
that's not
Going
me.
into my-
Things he tried.
No, that's my weakness.
You already got it out the way.
Fisher.
Wave on your face. She almost got away
I'll
with
come
this.
get it. It's still there. All right, let me.
All right, go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Excuse me. Go ahead, Justin.
Did I grab one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Tom, I'll be back.
Now, I want you to know, I did not drag you over there.
No, he brought it.
No, no, it's there.
No, actually, I didn't. I carried it.
Wow.
I never had them.
Oh, you're good with this.
See, this
Tom,
is
who
why
made these?
I have no idea. See, who made them?
Mhm.
Oh, that was Cracker
Yeah,
Don.
shrimp and grits.
Yeah, my boy, they got some good breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. That was
Yeah, shrimp and grits.
so I rubbed the
I've known
lines
him
on.
for 12 years.
Really?
Yeah.
And the rubber.
Yeah.
Let me see. What do I have?
Whenever you're ready, Justin.
Yeah, I was supposed to go last, but I gotta get out of here, so Bishop went ahead and squeaked me in. So I'm gonna be,
I know you got an
I
appointment.
won't be long, but I gotta do some stuff with my kids, then I got some appointments.
But that's so you
this
can
evening.
get to your
And you got
appointment later, right?
appointment later.
Yeah,
You do your appointment later.
yeah.
You don't do $18,000 with a penny business without sitting at home, right?
Mhm. No, you're working hard.
I'm gonna give this, this update I went over with Bishop and Doc on the webinar for the Express. And then a couple of other points I'm gonna hit real quick. But I tuned in on the 2nd for the Express Underwriting Plus webinar from 1 to 2. Michael Musselman gave that meeting. He talked about what the definition of Express Plus is basically, and it's a fast track to get the cases pushed through. That's basically it. Fast tracking all the cases, as many as you can, fast tracking through to help the client get coverage faster. So it's all about the customer. That's what he was saying. get them covered as quickly as possible. That's why they created this. So that clarifies any misunderstandings. If anybody got any questions, he answered it right then and there. So that's what it's about. He said we need to assume that most of the clients will need a medical exam. So we need to assume that for every person that we write. Now, I mean, kids, more than likely not,
Right.
but I'm pretty sure when he was talking about that, and I'm pretty sure somebody asked a question because I had to get going. I couldn't stay for the question and answer, but I'm pretty sure somebody asked, well, what about children? Well, I'm pretty sure it doesn't apply to the majority. There have been a few cases I've had where it's been a little bit of an issue. There have been some red flags where they were like, oh, that weight and height seems a bit abnormal for that child. So, but the most you'll have to do is with kids is that juvenile inspection, that phone inspection. That's the most you'll have to do. Still electronic. They're covering from age 51 to 60, get 500,000. Anything from 0 to 50, they can apply for $1 million. So 51 to 60, 250 to 500,000. 500,000 is the most.
You gotta be in good health.
They can apply.
Okay.
They can apply. If you need to do, make that phone call to pre-qualify, then make the call. But basically what he said here is 51 to 60, they can apply for up to 500,000. So if they have issues and you know about those issues, just go ahead and make that phone call to underwriting. Get out ahead of that. Save you time, save them time. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, be more efficient. Like you said, get them covered quick.
So is that to underwriting or make that call to the medical so they
Make
get
that call to underwriting.
underwriting?
Yeah, you give them all the information that you have in that client, whatever issues they have, whatever the concerns are. If they have them, if we have them, then we make that phone call, they'll give us an available underwriter, and they'll answer the questions.
Did they talk to you about how they've staffed up for FEG?
They did not. He did not.
Yeah, we have a department of about 6 people to assist with just FEG people.
Okay. Now, some of those emails, Bishop, I think I shot those to you and Donna, but we'll talk about that again because I got an email and they gave me some information that'll help us with certain things like pending cases. Like when I was telling you, they don't really want you to contact the underwriter if the case is not pending. If you have anything beyond pending, then you contact FEG or the agent.
Business, right?
Yeah.
Someone else, yeah.
Or the agent, it's an agent court at FEG. It's a couple of email addresses that they gave me for that because what they're saying is you're holding up that underwriter if they've already approved that. If it's something else going on where you're waiting for something to happen and it's not issued and paid, don't contact the underwriter because they have tons of people calling them, tons of cases to do. And I learned that from experience because I was contacted. And so he just sent me that email just to let me know.
Your best friend is the case manager.
Yes. Yes. If anybody sees Kim Williams or Ro Gibson with FEG, get connected.
I always ask Ro how your son is doing.
Get on the good side.
Yeah, building relationships.
Yeah.
Build those relationships.
Ro is a wonderful lady.
Yes, she is. She is. But yeah, those are the 2 people I really stay in contact with the most. Ro and Kim, both they get a lot done. So when you start building those relationships, you can ask to have something expedited.
Mhm.
Yeah. Can you get this expedited, please? They'll get right on. They'll put a little something on the bottom of the stack for you if you got that relationship.
Yeah, Shelley's cookies work too.
And also, you know, if certain underwriters have if they have that Starbucks, they can probably move those cases a little bit quicker for you.
You have no idea.
So,
Well,
you know, that's just a little nuggets. We did an update. But yeah,
Yes, they do.
but 65 and up to 250.
That's it.
That's it.
Mhm. That makes sense.
They are using the risk classify method. And basically, they send all of these things through a third-party database. So this third-party database, like I was saying when I was discussing it with you and Bishop after I went to the webinar, is a company called LexisNexis Risk Classifier.
Right.
Here's the key. It's not just credit report. They check criminal history, check for bankruptcy, any type of licenses that you've held. And there's something going on with those licenses that's not kosher. All that's gonna make a difference. So they say, oh yeah, we're gonna check your credit, and you know, if the credit's good. Now it's all of these things. On top of that, public records will be the biggest determining factor. So,
I mean, I totally understood that when you and I, Bishop, talked about that. But it kind of really upsets me just a little bit, because it makes me feel as though the insurance company is getting out of the business of just, you know, giving insurance, you know, life insurance.
Well,
They're starting to do stuff like make you feel like you get a credit
that's
card.
only for Express.
Oh, okay.
If any of these things come, it's jump back into the normal.
Okay, so
this is
you
the
refer back.
Express Plus webinar.
these are indicators as to whether or not, you know, if you're living a reckless life, you probably
Well,
you're recklessly take care of yourself too.
and that goes to that leads me to the next point. This determines whether the client is a good mortality risk.
Exactly.
That's why they do it. They're in the business of protecting themselves.
Okay.
They have to do that to stay in business. You know, especially if they're going to give them these great rates and get these policies through. Now remember, they're doing it to get these policies through quicker, to get these customers covered faster.
Right, but like
So at
Bishop
the end of
said,
the day, it's all about the client.
but it's not a hindrance. If it becomes a hindrance, it
goes
defers
to the
back.
channel, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not disqualified.
Okay.
You just go to the
regular,
standard, go regular. And
So
you
Express
take
is
what
just
you like.
That's just a privilege then.
Yeah, that's a way to get some of them through this. Good ones that go through quick, they can go through quick.
And all of the classifications and all of the prices are the same. Nothing has changed. All life products are offered. They said that there were some companies that were doing this, but they didn't offer it with term. So they are offering it with term and IUS. So we don't have any issues there. Like I was telling Bishop, we were talking at the end, I think he's experienced this already. At the end of the process, right before you start signing, it's gonna let you know that they can possibly be approved for Express. So right away, you'll know. You'll have that answer. So when you get to the end, just look for that, because they'll tell you, oh wow, you have a great client here. They might be able to get the Express Plus, but they still have to go through the process.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. They will be checking the standard bill. They'll qualify. Substandard, go ahead and set it up. Set that medical up. if they have to have an exam, get out in front of it. Get the exam set up immediately. As soon as I submit the EAP, I'm calling exam 1 to set the exam up. No need to wait for them to tell you, because we've done it enough
Right.
to where we know now. So if the bill is not standard, if they have a lot of medical issues, they're going to do the exam. So go ahead and set it up for them. What I like to do is I get my client on the phone and I get exam 1 on the line. I do a 3-way call with both.
Justin, when you have somebody that you know you're going to be writing out, have you ever scheduled for the examiner to come at the same time that you're there?
I have not.
It works.
That's the next point to help make it go through quicker.
That's good.
If you've got that kind of a situation and you have a relationship with the examiner in that area, schedule it for the same time you're doing your exam. Just come in there and the exam goes in with the application. Basically, I mean, they're going from different routes.
They can come while you doing it. When you get your information, you finishing up, you get the EAP, have the exam person come right there at the same time.
Don't start doing it.
After you finish the EAP or while you're in the process of doing it?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. If they get there, a little bit before you finish your application, go ahead, let them come in. They do the exam right there. You know you got to do the exam.
Yeah.
But that's the way with your application. Now you're talking about saving another week.
Yeah.
Before you
It takes
paid another week quicker.
It takes about 4 days for them to
Yeah.
that stuff over
Yeah,
there.
coordinating everybody is sort of like not doing a conference call on a 3-way.
Right.
It can really, I mean, I've seen it delayed a month, 2 months.
Mhm.
Never happened. But if you ever have a situation where you're doing one that's similar to an enrollment, where maybe you're doing 5 or 6, maybe it's a small business or something,
Oh wow.
you just schedule them to come in while you're there. When they need an exam, go over and see so-and-so.
Right there, the same step.
So now we get
That's
something
good.
else to make it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
A little bit.
Just connecting those dots.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay,
That's good.
so I know real quick, the app that I've submitted to you, you know that the military app. He's here, he's doing it for his whole family. But the whole family has just flown out to Georgia. I was talking to Bishop about this. So of course, we're going to have to get them we got to have an examiner set up in Georgia. So just kind of like a heads up, because this is the first one for me to
Well, what you do is you get the information for the different exam ones, which I have them all in my phone. For
Okay,
the
good.
people that I've written up that needed it,
Uh-huh.
I've gotten the information wherever they are. If they're outside of the city, I get those exam 1 numbers, and once you have them, you keep them.
And if you have a question, all you got to do is call the local exam 1, and they'll give you the number to the exam 1 that's in that area.
And that's for
Okay.
juvenile inspections also,
Okay, well,
because they're different numbers.
that's what we'll be doing for this that one family that I gave the paperwork
Yeah, I mean, because I just recently did one where I go to a lady up here in Austin. She went to Mississippi and she did her exam in Mississippi too.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
I
Like
love
next
that we
week.
got our arm reaches
Lot
that
of good
far. I love
stuff
that.
out there. 50 plus, no prescription record. Set up the medical exam. Basically, what he said was, if they don't have a prescription record by 50,
Something wrong.
that's a red flag.
That's a real.
They're going into it. So just know that. And be upfront with them. Let them know. Let them know upfront. Hey.
Oh man.
You don't
the
have.
price of being healthy.
You don't have that
We're
prescription
gonna
record.
get you.
You're going to take it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good.
They also check for multiple apps because people put in applications at different insurance companies. When they get turned down somewhere else, or they might say they smoked here and they don't here. So they're going to check for that. And if they see that out there on a client, it's going to be a little bit of an issue. So just these are things that they'll be looking for, and it's only going to help us help these clients.
Mhm.
So my thing going in is I'm up front. I'm giving them as much education as possible. I'm just straightforward to the point.
Mhm.
Like JD said, you're going to know who I am in 10 minutes of talking to me.
Absolutely. Maybe
So,
5.
Just be upfront with them, and they'll appreciate that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know. You're right.
That's too cool.
Yes.
Okay, went over mortality risk. The top 4 risks that they see will be provided to the client automatically. So Anaco will provide that to our clients.
Which is good.
So if they don't qualify, they'll give them the top 4 risks so they can start dealing with that.
Okay.
He asked a question. He said, why would anyone go through this? So you were kind of saying that, oh, man, you know, why are they doing this? Well, it seems like they're changing. Well, a lot of people are asking, well, why? Why would I go through that? Why do I want to go through that? Gave a great answer. If Anaco season, when you apply for a home, they see it, especially the credit. If you apply for a car, they see it. So if you're getting turned down, and some of these issues are in your records, with these bankruptcies, these credit issues, that gives you an opportunity to see when you didn't know before. So it gives people an opportunity to get that stuff cleaned up. So there is an upside to doing that for those who think they're just meddling, because it's a great opportunity. Like I always tell people, you always tell them it's a reward.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And LexisNexis, that third-party company that Anaco uses, will help them get these things corrected.
That's good. That's what I was going to issue. So they will let you know what areas
Let
that
you know.
they look at.
So credit repair.
Man, that's good.
Yeah.
So they can qualify
Credit repair.
for a better rate.
Yeah.
With the insurance company.
Like you said,
It's almost like buying a house.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll help them clean it up, and then 60 to 90 days after, they can resubmit. Run through again, give them a better rate.
Better way. That's good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I covered that. The pop-up screen will tell you whether they are eligible or not. When they tell you that, it'll give you a screen that asks if you want to do a medical exam. Check the no box, because if you check yes, they're going to go back to the regular underwriting process automatically.
Say it one more time.
Yeah.
If you check the yes box on the medical, because there's a box that's going to be there for a medical exam.
Mm-hmm.
If you check that, there's a possibility that they may qualify for Express Plus.
That's right.
It's going to send them right back to the original process.
So should it default
It'll
always to no?
disqualify them automatically
Right.
because we check yes.
Yeah,
Where do
don't
you
check
see
it.
this? Where do you see this?
It's right at the end, right?
It'll be right at the end.
Right after you lock.
In an app?
Yeah, right after you
Yeah,
lock.
in the Expert app only.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Expert app only.
Yeah.
That's because, you know,
I haven't
expert
done
out
any
is still new to
research.
you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't done
Yeah.
research.
Yeah, right after you lock it, it'll pop up.
Right.
So they said the best rate that you're going to get 90% of the time is the standard, the $250,000. So that's going to give you the best rate. Like I say, they save the customer time and hassle. These are some of the things they've seen since they've been doing this. Started July 19th. They've seen the younger people, like I was saying, they get approved a lot faster
Real
since they
fast.
started this process. And they've seen a lot higher face amounts.
Yes.
So these face amounts are going up with this express process. Any incorrect information, any numbers being missed, like I was talking about the lady that she filled out her banking information. I typed it in on 3 apps, it was right. I typed the 4th one in. I didn't catch it. I typed it in like she did, even though I typed the other 4 incorrectly, I still missed it. And that's gonna generate that PAC. You gotta do it, process held up. So we gotta be real careful about the information, having all of the information and having the accurate information.
You're right.
So those are gonna be some key components as well. The main thing that he said was do not set the wrong expectation for these clients. we need to be clear. We need to be upfront. We need to be as thorough and as honest as possible with these people. So, you know, that's pretty much what he wrapped up, is do not set the wrong expectation, especially concerning medical exams. I know we've covered that about whether or not you have to do medical. Well, technically, if it's 250 or below, technically, no. But if red flags pop up, there's a chance that they may have to go do that exam. So we can't tell them no medical. So, you know, we just need to say there's a possibility. If it's 250 or less, if something comes up and the insurance company wants you to take an exam, then you'll take it. But technically, majority of the time, there's no medical 250 and up. So, the other thing they see was a 32-year-old got $1 million in 2 days, and a 48-year-old got $1 million, both in 2 days, no meds. Those are two actual cases.
Wow.
That they went through.
Wow.
Wish we had somebody.
2 days. 2 days.
2 days.
That's great help right there.
I'm gonna wrap it up. American National, if anybody hasn't seen it, they made Forbes for 2017 as the top most trustworthy financial company.
All right. We got that to back us up.
So my business card, American National.
Use it.
Yes.
Good.
Illustration on our pipeline and our goal being discontinued, which we probably haven't used that in a long time.
Yeah.
But just putting it out there for people that haven't heard about it. One situation I encountered with a lady is that her father had a policy. It was $10,000. The insurance agent wasn't very thorough. Didn't give him a whole lot of information. She wasn't there. She said she wished she would have been, but she wasn't able to be there. She felt like they took advantage of her father. He passed away. They couldn't get the $10,000 death benefit. After a long battle, a long hard fight, they was able to receive the $1,700 worth of premiums that they paid. The issue was the incontestability clause. So when we're doing this school, that Bishop started with LBRS, and Donnie and I, or anybody else is teaching, like we were talking about in a meeting one time, as Donnie and I, as we teach, we're still gonna be learning. We're gonna learn what we've already learned again, plus more. But we need to know what we're talking about. We need to be educated about it, because you have people going out there giving half-true, not knowing, you know, all of the aspects of what needs to be discussed. And a lot of them, like Bishop said, they don't even know how to present it to them. So it's causing a lot of problems. She didn't want anything to do with life insurance. She said, I don't want anything to do with it. I have a kid, I'm married, but I don't want anything to do with that. She said, I trust God. She said, whatever happens, happens. I said, well, what was the issue? She told me. So, what does the incontestability clause do?
Is that a question?
No. I thought it was a rhetorical question. I thought you was going to answer it.
Prevents the provider from void coverage due to a mistake.
Exactly.
But there's a time frame.
There is, I'm gonna say, actually, in it, what?
They didn't say it was 2, but on the test,
It's 2.
it says 2. But they don't put that. They didn't put it in the definition, but it's 2. So I explained that to them. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to meet with her and her husband. We're going to talk to them. And I said, I'll be more than happy to give you more information, more education, answer all the questions that you have. I said, but we work for a great company. We represent an exceptional company. I said, so give me the opportunity to right these wrongs, to correct these issues for you. Because when I'm done, I said, I guarantee that you will tell your friends. You will change your mind. I said, because at the end of the day, you need protection. Your husband needs protection, and your son needs protection. I said, so if you give me the time,
That's a gift.
I promise I will never disappoint you.
When he said you
will not
guarantee,
disappoint.
everybody believed him.
I would just say, I'll never go.
So she said, okay,
That's
well, let me give my husband, and we'll share with me.
I like that. That's trust.
But
Going back to what
I gave her knowledge up front. I shared what that agent did not share. I said, man, every agent is not going to be the same. There are going to be substandard agents. There are going to be substandard companies. I said, but I can assure you, we are not that.
Good, good.
So I let her know what's going on. I said, I don't know why. Today, if you die before 2 years or you get sick, they are going to investigate the case.
Yeah.
So every insured that has a policy, there's not guaranteed that it's going to pay out. They're going to look to see if there's been any type of misrepresentation. And if there has been, more than likely they're not going to pay it out. But people need to know that. They need to know. Because they think, because they got the policy, oh, I'm covered now. If I die, I get sick, man, I get my living benefits or my family get the death benefit. No, 2 years. If it happens before 2 years, Anaco is going to take a look at your case. How do I know? My relationships. I went straight to the source. I have a few sources, but I just contacted one of them.
But this is good. This is good. They need to understand it.
So that goes back to the relationship again.
Yes.
So we need to make sure we're all building on the relationship. Like Teresa said, like she had lunch with somebody or bought lunch for the office or something like that. You know, I mean, just relationships. You know, and that's what it is at the end of the day. So they have to know what's going on. The last thing, the issue date versus.
Can I ask one question? Because you brought up something really quick. So when I know that I heavily push living benefits, so you're saying to me that's something that I definitely need to make them aware of.
Yes.
Is that okay? All right.
If you die before 2 years or you get sick before 2 years,
Yeah.
they're gonna pull that case and take a look.
Okay.
And that only becomes an issue, or mainly, if they're gonna pull it if it's in 2 years, period.
Period.
But you don't have to worry about anything if you tell the truth.
If you tell the
Exactly.
truth, yeah.
That goes with us doing our job and being upfront. The first thing I do going in the door is, I need you to be true and honest. We don't know each other here. Let's lay it on the table.
Tell you a real quick one. Had a person that had a $64,000 mortgage, as you can tell us a while back, and said he only needed $40,000. Okay, so we wrote $40,000. Then he called up and he said, you know what? Or actually, when the person called to deliver the policy, he said, you know what? I changed my mind. I really need the 64. So I sent it back in, got it issued 64. He called up to deliver it. The wife said he walked out of a meeting this morning and dropped dead of a heart attack. 6 months later, the company paid the $64,000 plus interest because they took that long to make sure that there was no history of this guy having heart problems. So yeah.
Especially since he said he didn't.
Yeah.
Wow, it's good.
They check all of that. So that 10-year questionnaire, that 5-year questionnaire is, I like to use Bishop word, is vitally important. You hear him say that a lot.
They gonna check it.
Long enough.
Yeah.
They're gonna check it out. So that's why I'm just saying, hey, just tell me the truth. We don't
Good.
No reason for misrepresentation.
Good.
Because I'm gonna be honest, these are the things that could possibly happen. So we'll cover this and we'll get out of here. The issue date versus the premium date. If a person has an issue date of the 4th and they say, okay, I want my premium to come out on the 20th. Guess what? That 30-day grace has started on the 4th.
Wait.
The day your policy is issued is when your grace starts, not the day you pay your premium.
Okay.
So if you don't pay your premium on the 20th, you're already 16 days into your grace. You only have 14 left. You don't have 30. So for somebody not to understand that, it could cause their policy to lapse.
Gotcha.
That's on the tip.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's on the
But I
tip.
just
So just a few things there.
I've been explaining that incorrectly.
Yeah. So if they got an issue date on the 4th, they say, oh, I want it to come out on the 20th, well,
You only have 14
14
days
days
if that.
of grace. If you don't pay it on the 20th, not 30.
Okay.
So that's just a quick little nugget to drop on when you talk to them, so they understand that how that works.
Okay. All right. Very good.
So
Okay.
Let me, I just want to touch on one thing right quick. Hold on.
okay.
With you. Now you guys can see why he's one of the top producers in the company. Right?
Absolutely.
And also, you know, they just had this contest with the Apple Watches.
Mhm.
He's already qualified. Matter of fact, he's already got the order for the Apple Watch before the end of the month. He's already
Yes, he does.
so next time you see him,
You gotta have one of these. You gotta have one of these.
You're going to say Apple Watch because that contest was 9 sales in that period of time and $9,000 worth of premium or more. More than 9 sales or 9 sales or more or $9,000 worth of premium or more. He did it way before it finished. And I did it during the time where I was getting 100,000, so mine just automatically. Yeah, we both would have Apple Watches. We can alternate back and forth. But he is definitely one of the best that we have in our
Brother, you are.
And you can see why. Just to see the detail of what he does and the way he takes care of his talents. He's good. Excellent. We appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you so
sir.
much.
Yeah. And actually, I want to say one more thing before JD get up. Actually, this was done in our talk. We gave him a promotion.
Yes, we did.
He now run our entire back office for LBRS.
Yes, he does.
He
I was 5 years younger.
Melissa is the one that inputs the app, but he's the one that run the apps through. So we believe we finna get so much influx of business, we had to adjust that a little bit.
Yes, we did.
And I told him I ain't got time to be talking all those other right now. I'm getting it to you. I ain't got time for that. To build all those relationships, he already built. So we're gonna ride that wave, right? So if any of you guys want to use him, you can negotiate with him. We already finished our negotiating. So he gave us a favor because he's for the corporate.
Yes.
So I don't know what your negotiation would be, but I'm telling you, it would be a huge
Yes, indeed.
asset to your business.
Yes.
If you have this man working on your cases,
That's right.
talking to the underwriters, pushing your stuff through, he'll get it through twice. And he has stuff going through, and I'm like, how did that happen? Because he did it. So Don and I put our heads together and said, let's start using this. So we hired him over and said, we need you in our back office to handle all this stuff.
And he
So
will
if
put
any
the
of you guys
split.
need that, yes. And he don't play now. The
That's right.
app's got to be straight.
That's
We was
right.
looking at Donna kind of funny yesterday.
That's right.
But the app's got to be straight. All that stuff got to be in. But I'm telling you, if you take the time, put it in,
That's right.
pass it off to Justin, it'll run through.
That's right.
Just real quick, now that you got Annika down, you better start bowling up on the IT. We had to fly in for a 4-hour meeting in San Diego 2 weeks ago. And basically got the word that, not to stop writing with other companies, they don't want that. But they told each and every one of us, and it was like the top 15 CEOs in the company, that you need to do at least, from what you're doing now, at least 40% of your business needs to go to AIG, and here's why. Anaco, the Moody's aren't interested in buying us. LSW, we're not direct. All we're doing is building up Don Eber. They're not going to buy us. F&G turned out to be a bit of a farce. They're not buying us. AIG is interested in buying us. we gotta do 10 million with them from the start of July to the beginning of next July. We gotta do 15 the next year and 30 the next year after that if they are going to make an offer to us. Now, can we do it? Absolutely. We're doing that already, but we're doing it everywhere. Okay. So Petro and I had a conversation. He told me that he wants AIG and the mortgage thing. And AIG is, see, our reticence with AIG has been underwriting for years, but it's coming around and they're really working on doing things for us now. Not only are they branding for us, they've never done that for anybody, but they're going to brand for the mortgage. In fact, it's already in compliance. I've already got like 3 pieces.
Wow.
All right. And they're non-med. It's only up to 50. It's up to right under 250. Okay. Non-med, if it doesn't get issued in 5 days, if it's clean, they'll pay the agent $100 and still issue it. And they still issue it.
Wow.
Okay. So they're trying to do some things, and I can tell you, if you have a rated case, there's no place you can go that's better because their COIs are about 38% of what they are with Amoco or LSW and the rest of them. And their COIs, you know, the cost of insurance goes up. The older you get, cost of insurance goes away at age 85 with them. So if you're using the max accumulator, you're going to kick anybody's hind. Okay, so there's some really good things there, especially the branding. One of the reasons WFG is doing so well is because Transamerica is their company and everybody knows that building, right? Well, AIG is the biggest company in the world, and they're partnering with us. Yeah. If you go to aig.com/FEG, you'll already see some of it. Okay, know that because you're a man. You gotta know this stuff.
That's a big deal, guys. That's a big deal. I mean, to have the largest insurance company in the world, to say we are in partnership with FEG.
Only. Nobody else ever.
They don't have no partnership with WFG, Primerica. They are going to be our go-to company at some point. And they're going to end up buying us. So that's where your equity share is going to get paid out. We don't get the equity share in one big check.
It's going to be through AIG.
Through AIG is going to buy us, and we're still going to have everything else intact. They ain't changing nothing with our hierarchies or nothing. But AIG gonna give us a big check. So that might be within 3 years, within 2 to 3 years, that's gonna happen.
So 2 to 3 years, guys, we got to get out.
We got to get your 100,000 within 2 to 3 years.
100,000. Give it trail.
Hey man, we're not saying in 2 or 3 years so that we're not saying that you do it in 2 or 3 years so you get your ring. We said do it in 2 or 3 years so you can get 2 or 3 times what the month, whatever you put in. If you do 150,000 and they come around, even if they gave us double, you got a check for 300,000 just because you were there. Because you did. You still made your other money. Your team still intact.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what's ready to happen.
Yeah.
So man, if you have built 300,000 or 400,000 in your retirement, you get ready to be in a position to get it just like that. And you still got your 100,000 getting to it. And everything after that, your team, everything they do every year is still gonna be added to it. So
I'm talking about.
It ain't no time to play. Yeah, this is time to get real serious.
It will. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's get Jeff's hand up. All right, we got the best for last, guys. Hold on to our seats. We have Pastor JD gonna come up and talk to us about one of the bedrock of our business, which is networking. Give him a hand.
Move this out the way, I can move a little bit. All right, Justin. Top dog. Top dog. How we doing this afternoon?
Awesome.
I will not be before you long. I was told I had 20 minutes, so I took about a 90-minute class, and I just pulled a couple points out of it. Developed this class last week. It's about 90 minutes. It goes through some pretty extensive training on how to manage your network. And so what I did was I kind of consolidated it to about 20 minutes, took a few things out. One thing we have to understand that I've actually learned. I've been, my team has been a top recruiter for the past few months. And what I'm noticing is that we had a class before, or a presentation before, was about, you know, how to build your networking, right? What you have to understand once you get to a certain point is you have to manage your network. It's not just about building your network or how to network. You're literally a project manager.
That's exactly right.
Your network is a project. Anybody ever worked in a corporate? Because it takes a specific skill set to know how to manage a project. When you're in this business, your project is your network. And the more you know about your network, the more successful you'll be. The less you know about your network, the less successful you'll be. All right? So, you've all heard this before. So your network consists of what? Warm contacts and what? Cold contacts. This is the most basic we're going to get for this entire presentation. We're going to go more in depth after this particular one. But I want you to have a good understanding of your warm contacts and your cold contacts. Somebody had made a statement before, and they said that, what are your warm contacts? Right? What do you think? Somebody do a couple things.
Family.
Family.
Friend, co-workers.
Co-workers.
Church members.
Right.
Friends. Peers.
That was the case, I would think, 15, 20, 30 years ago. When you think of warm network or your warm market, that was the case, 80, 90% of the time. Now we're living in a social media era, and warm networks are a little different. They're a little different. Before, you can go into work, and everybody knew who you were. Now, when I go into work, I know everybody, but I really know maybe 5 people. Know what I mean?
Yes.
Everybody else, I know what they post on social media. I don't really know them, right? So can you say that your coworkers are truly your warm network? They're more like your lukewarm network now, right? So you really have to put it in perspective. Who is your true warm network? And then go through the spectrum and say, who's my cold network?
That's good.
And you have to be able to manage that. And everyone in between. There's a difference, right? So we're going to take just a few minutes because I want you to tell me about your network. I want to know about your warm network.
You asking me that?
I'm asking everyone.
Okay.
I'll start with you. Tell me about your warm network.
My warm network is pretty broad actually because
Usually just for country boy.
yeah. I mean church, family. I have a huge family on both sides. I worked in different industries, and a lot of those people we're pretty tight, I would say. And then music has made it even more wide, But and then I mean my family for sure, and it's just because my family is so diverse.
Right.
Yeah. So
when someone asks you that, that's normally the answer you get.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
And mine is just a little bit the opposite because I would say my immediate family, which was my children, that was my warm market. But my family was not my warm market because they're standing back and waiting to see what happened. So then what came into my warm market was my character of the people that I know that know me, know who I am. So that's kind of what worked for me. It's people that I knew, my immediate family, but not my family. Until later. I'll go back and get them like Herman did.
So I asked that question specifically for a reason, and that is because we started this presentation off saying one thing. You are a project manager, right? Your network is your project. We talk about networking. When you think about a project manager in some of the companies you work with, right? If the CEO or their director or any of their officers came to them and said, tell me about your project. And they said, well, I got this department over here. I know a lot of people over here and they're doing good work. And when I come over here, there's a couple people I know in this department and they're all right. Do you think that would flow, or that would go over well with their director or their VP? Right? If you're managing a true project, all right, and we're saying that your network is your project, I'm asking you to tell me about your network. Who's your top 5 warm?
My brother.
Tell me about your brother.
My brother is an entrepreneur. He's highly skilled in computer sales and computer marketing, or network marketing, I guess. And he's now producing music.
Give me a number. Tell me number 2.
Number 2 would be my cousin.
Mhm.
He is a travel agent.
Mhm.
He has been able to travel a lot.
Mhm.
He also does music. He's really into church. He loves God,
Mhm.
and he's an excellent father.
Give me number 3.
Number 3 would be my mom.
Mhm.
My mom is well known in the community. She is a breast cancer survivor. She does a lot of outreach to other women who suffer with breast cancer, and she's very supportive in the church, and she takes care of my grandma.
Now, that's different than just saying, I kind of deal with these people over here, and I kind of deal with these people over here.
Good point.
That's him managing his network. That's him managing his network. Now watch this. Your brother. Do you approach your brother the same way you approach your mom?
No.
Do you approach your mom the same way you approach your cousin?
No.
Why not?
I guess that's
First of all, they got different personalities.
Mhm.
They have, they have different skills.
Mhm.
One, my mom birthed me. I respect her at a different level
Mhm.
than what I respect my brother and my cousin.
Right.
And the conversations are not the same. Usually because one is specialized in this, one specialized in this, and one specialized in this. Although they're involved in a lot of different things, this is what they specialize in.
Y'all hear this? This is how you project manage your network, right? You have to know who you're approaching. This is your warm market. Now think about this. This is the people he's closest to and still has to address and approach them differently. But then you also have to look at their likes. They have to look at their things that they have in common. Now, 2 of them have music in common. I think all of them had church in common, right? So there are some things, some nuggets you can take and say, well, I can mention this because they're in church, and I can mention this because they're both in music. But overall, you got to approach them all in different ways. So when you're managing your network, especially your warm network, you have to look and say, all right, my cousin has this, my mama is working with this, my brother is working with this. I definitely have to approach them all differently, but they kind of all have this in common. So you have to actually strategize and come up with ways to approach your warm network so you can benefit from your warm network. So I asked him this, right? Have you written any of this down before?
No, sir.
No. But you just knew this, why?
Familiarity with my market, with my family.
With your warm network, right? So that's you can project manage your warm network very easily because you usually know them,
Good point, Nate.
right? So you don't have to write that down, but I would suggest you doing it because it helps you down the line because you won't be able to do that with your cold network. Right? You don't know them as well. All you know is little tidbits and nuggets that you get from your warm network concerning your cold networks, right? You have to project manage your network. Write this stuff down. What works with your warm network will work with your cousin, might work with your cousin's best friend or your cousin's best friend's uncle, but it might not. That's why anytime you're networking and you're managing your network, you have to ask good questions. Don't just go back and say, man, cousin, I thank you for signing up for this $250,000 policy. You have 5 references. Don't just take 5 names. Tell me about this reference. How long have you known him?
Yeah.
What's your relationship like? What's he into?
Yeah.
Oh, he like the Cowboys? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to make notes on each reference. Why? Because you're managing the network. This is your
I like
project.
that.
Yeah.
Amen. That's
Yeah, even
good.
on the
That is
references.
good.
Yeah.
You have to ask questions. Names won't do you any good.
Mhm.
That's a cold call. I wish somebody would cold call.
Click.
Click. Right? Ask questions. You need to know their attributes. Know what they're into. What's your brother into? What'd you say?
He's in the computer sales. He's in the traveling. He's in the God.
So he's in the technology, right? He's in the technology. I'm gonna tell you about my business. I work in the technology field too. 90% of the people who work at my company are under the age of 30. The vast majority of them are 26 and under. because they're getting them right out of college. They're all software engineers and so on. The only people who are over 45 are the officers in the company, right? So the demographic of people I work with fall outside of our, but it's still a good, you have to know your network and you have to know how to approach them. Every time I've approached some of these young, I like to call them young whippersnappers. They call me one of the old dudes there, right? Because they're all like 25, 24 right out of college. If I ask them about life insurance, oh man, what are these? They're not even worried about retirement, right? They fall outside of our core demographic, right? But each and every one of them sign up for a $50, what is it? Is it Geico? Aflac. So my company offers Aflac.
Yeah.
They care about accidental.
Yeah.
You know, because most of them have little sports cars and little rims and stuff, right? Oh no, they pay their $50 a month for their $30,000 in coverage. To them, that's not. I don't want to know about life insurance, but I might get into a car wreck. So how do I approach them? What do I do?
Living benefits.
I don't even mention life insurance at all. Not even a little bit. They don't want to come to kitchen tables. They're millennials. They want to know how's this going to benefit me, and what are we doing right now? Get in, let's get out. I said, how much are you paying a month for Aflac? Oh, $50 a month. What's your coverage? $35,000.
Millennials too, man. That's
What if I told
that's
you?
a $500,000
What if I told you?
Yeah, what if I told you that for that same 50 or less, I can get you 500,000 or more? You're 24 years old.
Isn't that
That's
something?
good.
What if I told you that?
What have I told you?
I light up like a
Right? Because the way that they approach it is, oh man, I'm not worried about life insurance, but man, if I get into a car accident and I get paralyzed, I get that $30,000. They have no clue. But if I mention life insurance, oh man, I'm 24 years old.
Yeah.
You have to know how to manage
That's good.
your
That's real
network.
good.
And that same, what if I told you, if you got in a car accident, I can show you how you get 500,000 so you get 35.
They willingly pay
Yeah.
$50 a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that's what living benefits will do for
Yep.
So you have to know how to manage your network. You have to look at these demographics, see what attributes they have, where they're coming from, and you have to know how to approach them. You are a project manager. Donna, tell me about your network.
Okay, well, my network initially include first my children.
Not your warm network.
No warm, just
tell me
my
about your cold network.
Okay, tell you about my cool network.
Or lukewarm. We'll do lukewarm.
My lukewarm. Okay, I'm dealing with I don't want to say friends, associates.
Okay.
With businesses. My focus is on self-owned businesses. Those that are, small.
Small
Mhm.
businesses. Okay.
I'm focusing on them. My presentation to them is just kind of like you said, let them talk to me and then introduce living benefits to them that compares and helps enhance their business based on accidental, based on illness, just different things like that.
Right.
Okay. Another one of my networks that I'm really focusing on is I really want to say, and I'll just be real honest with this, nurseries. We're focusing on that. It's become a big thing for me based on the fact that I'm beginning to find out about different people. And a lot of people, what we don't know is a lot of people have a lot of those little nurseries right within their own homes. And so I'm getting a lot of connections on that. And then last but not least, one of the things we definitely want to break into is with the real estate, which I think is, the timing is great for some of the information that you're going to be doing at the meeting.
So let me ask you this. Do you approach these small business owners in the same way that you approach your sister?
Absolutely not.
Your sisters in your church?
No.
No. And you know that, right?
Yes.
Do you have it written out how you should approach them?
I don't have it written down, but just based on where they're at,
You kind of figure it out?
yes.
I would advise you to write it down.
Okay.
Would advise you to write it down because what happens is you start making these standards. It's just like reading scripture. All right. You can hear it on Sunday, but once it's in your heart, right? Once you have it memorized and it seeps down within you, the way you approach people becomes second nature. You don't have to really think about it, right? But if you know the way you approach small business owners is different than the way you approach your brother or sister in Christ at church, you need to start writing these down. Let me strategize this. Why? Because your network is your project, right? Real quick, there are layers, right? So you were talking about the warm context and the what? The cold context. I want you to think of it in the mindset of a fire, right? If your warm contacts are around your fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? That means you can have on less clothing, right? Because you don't have to be the best salesperson.
That's good.
You don't have to be the best presenter to convince somebody who's known for 20 years that this might be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to go to New York City in January with a t-shirt on,
Mm-hmm.
I might be in trouble.
Just a little bit.
Right? So the further you get away from your warm market, you have to add on layers of skill sets.
I like that.
You have to put on layers. That's how you address your cold market.
Uh-huh.
Right? You don't have to be the best salesperson, but you have to put on another layer or two or three from the ones that you had on when you were dealing with your cousin or your brother or your mother, because they're going to expect something different from you, right? You and your one of your coworkers, or you and one of your brother's best friend's uncle's son, who you've never bunked bed with, has no idea who you are. So you can't approach him like your original warm contact, your brother. So every step of the way, you have to put on different skill set layers. Because the further you get away from the flame, the colder it gets outside. And a lot more no's you're going to get. So you have to add these layers of skill and nuggets and one-liners that will help you down the way. What helps me is statistics. How many of you know that this year there is more credit card debt in the U.S. than there's ever been in the history of credit?
I believe you.
Starting route to Pflugerville Police Department.
Where you going?
Going to jail.
Going to jail. You gotta check yourself.
There is over $1.2 trillion in credit card debt right now in the U.S.
I believe that. I know that to be so.
How many of you know that only 52% of the population in the U.S. has more savings than they do credit card debt? Think about that. There's a large percentage of people who have more credit card debt than the savings.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you start adding mortgages, you start adding student loans to that. See, this is how you approach. When I approach my network where I work, and these are all young guys right out of college, I don't talk about life insurance. I say, what's your student debt? What's your student loan debt right now?
Stuff, JD. Yeah.
Because I know they just graduated.
Right.
I saw them get hired.
Right.
And I know they got 6 months before they start calling student loans.
That's right.
And you don't want to talk about mortgages because
No.
that's not where they
You
are.
have to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
That's right.
2 million people between the ages of 50 and 65, 2 million people took out parent loan debts for their kids or grandkids.
You know you're right.
From 2015 to
Yeah.
2017.
Mhm.
That's up 1 million from 2014.
And the interest rate is higher. You know that on that.
And interest rate is higher. So a lot more parents and grandparents are taking out loans for their children.
That's right.
This is all just good stuff. It's all backed up by all. You can just go look it up. These are adding layers to your skill set. Do I have to tell my mom or my dad about, my son's student loan debt? No, I don't. But the further you get away from that fire, the more layers, skills, nuggets, information you have to approach your network. Got it? All right, so as I said, this is just a small, this is about a 90-minute class, and we go into all kinds of in-depth stuff. I kind of consolidated it for this 20-minute lecture. But just remember, your inner layers are for your warm market. Your outer layers are for your cold market. But you have to layer yourself. I'm going to end it with in the actual class, we go in depth on the actual layers and building up your skill sets and stuff. But I want to end it with this. It's funny because I was listening to Apostle give this presentation, and he was talking about prospecting, right? And how important it is to prospect. And I likened this particular part of the presentation to anybody ever know what the gold industry does? Everybody know that? Everybody heard of that? No?
I've heard of it, but I don't know.
You know? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna talk a little about it. So detectorists are the people you see like on the beaches with a metal detector. You ever been to a beach and saw somebody with a metal detector?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I was reading an article, a guy was 31, he's been doing it for 31 years. 31 years he's been a detectorist. He goes out, puts on his big beach hat, goes to metal detectors, and you can find diamond rings. You can especially go down to South Beach because people are in the water, they lose their Rolex. Eventually that's going to wash up on shore, right? He said, and at 31 years, he averages about $1,700 a year. I really just do it for fun, he says, as a detectorist, right? A prospector is someone who knows where the mineral gold deposits are. They know where they're at. They take simple tools like pans. You ever seen a prospector that puts a pan in the water and then shake the sediment and dirt out, and they hope that there's going to be gold nuggets there, right? A miner is someone who has the skill, the tools, and the resources to go to the mountain and mine out that gold. I'm here to tell you this afternoon that you are all three. This is what we do. Your cold market, your detectors. You got your detector out, and you're hitting up as many people as you can to see if you can find that gold nugget within them, right? Your prospect list is, or your being a prospector is really your warm market. You know the gold is there. You don't really have to work too hard for it. You can get a couple resources, get a couple tools, and eventually you'll shake some gold out. See, but when the real money comes from your network is being a miner. Being a miner. That means you have the skill set to go into that mountain and mine that gold. What do I mean by mountain? Let me break it down to you like this. All three of these, right, are needed in this business. The source of which is always going to be the mountain. There's a mountain full of gold deposits, right? If you're a prospector, you're at the bottom of the mountain because that water is flowing through the veins and you're looking at the remnants from the mountain. Right? If you're a detectorist, if somebody has found gold and dropped gold, lost gold, you're out there detecting trying to find it. But if you can be a miner, what do I mean by that? I'm going to equate that to your network. If you can find somebody as you're prospecting or you're being a detector, as you're out there, if you can find just that one mineral deposit, that one person that can lead you to a mine. What do I mean by that? If you can find that one person that has a network that's so vast and so intricate, but so concise and compressed that all you have to do is tap into one or two veins.
And the deeper you go,
the more you get. So what am I saying? You will spend a lot of your time being a detectorist. Once you get past your warm market and the sediment is all, been sifted in around you, now it's like, I'm in my cold market. I'm praying like, okay, let's see if we can just find that one. But if you can find the one that can lead you back to that mountain, I have a couple of them, but you have to work them. You have to have the resources. It's easy to go get a pan with some holes in it and shake some sediment. But once you get inside the mountain, we have one of our recruits from Houston. Her name is Sarah. She works in high-end salons. She had this great, I want to be the go-to person for living benefits and retirement in the beauty industry. I want to take over Houston. That's a mountain.
Right.
I have to provide her with the knowledge, the know-how, and the resources to tap in and be a minor in that.
Like that.
Now,
Three-way.
now I can teach her to go get a pan and sift out around her market. But if I give her the knowledge and the know-how, we help her mine, be a miner, she can change her life for generations. Yeah.
This is great. Y'all have a good day.
For generations. So,
This is it to come.
and all that
Thank
you
you.
do, remember that next gold nugget. You're always going to be trying to tap into your warm market and being a prospector. But in the front of your mind, the forefront of your mind, you should always be looking for that gold mine
Right.
within your network. And once you find one, you have to work that thing. You have to be patient. You go in there, it takes breaking rock down. You have there's a lot of work that goes into it. But once it starts flowing,
Good, good, good.
it makes everything work easier for you because you have the resources. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So again, this is just like a small. I guess I was more than 20 minutes.
No, but I just got a text, and Justin wants to let you know that he's been listening. He didn't turn it off. He got on Zoom, and he just wanted to let you know this is bad. This is bad stuff. Thumbs up.
Bad being good. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I get a thumbs up.
Michael Jackson told me that in the 80s. So, again, this is just a small piece of a bigger class, and in the class we kind of get more in depth. And we really work out. We're going to write down your cold network, your warm network, and we're going to really figure out how to manage it. But just please be a project manager of your network. If you have any questions, just let me know. Let any of the leadership know. You have to manage this thing like it's your livelihood.
That's right.
But once you find that mind, oh my goodness, just be patient. Work that mind. It can change. I'm telling you, not your life, only your life, but generations.
People have no idea.
You have no idea.
No idea.
We always look for the mind. Always look for that thing that's going to just that network that is going to change the rest of your networks. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So then you work on. I know you have.
Good stuff.
You told me all the places that you ever touch and the people that you know, how vast your network is. Do you think there's one or two people in your large network that are connected to a mind that if they get in there and get dug down deep enough and in the right position, that whole mind can just start flowing and producing questions?
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
You got that on CD?
Yeah. Can you send that to us too?
You already said it.
Okay.
This is just a little piece of the whole class. But all right.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay. Thank you. Wow. Do we still have anybody on Zoom, Bishop? Who we talking to? Justin, who else?
Richard, Napoleon, and Justin.
Napoleon, Justin, Richard. Hey guys, thank you for staying with us. I mean, this has been some good stuff. And I guess my face needs to express this is some good stuff. I mean, and if we take it and we grab it, we're gonna go somewhere. Now, I'm aware that we've had like 4 out on Zoom, but we also had some people that are actually really active in our group that are out. And I just don't want them to miss some of this stuff. So I'll be talking with Bishop. Maybe we'll be able to send the information out, maybe even get some of our speakers back to go a little bit deeper in some of this stuff. But, you know, it all depends. Corporate team, me and Bishop, we'll all talk about that. But awesome stuff. Bishop has given me almost the last word because he'll have the last word.
No, you got it.
Want to do a shout out to Judy. I know she's not out there, but she's usually always out there. And Judy, we love you. We miss you. We are praying for your health. I will call you this week. And Sarita, everybody knows Sarita's always here. Well, Sarita's a year older, so she's out celebrating for her birthday weekend. Happy birthday, cuz. We love you. We thank God for you. And I know we'll see you next weekend. With that being said, thank everybody for coming out. This has been great. I don't look at the numbers because what we have to always do is look at the knowledge that we have been put into us. Peace out.